Welcome back. You're watching Nation Wars 2019. I'm going to be joined by Roddy yet again for some more Nation Wars action. It's going to be Denmark going up against Norway up next. What do we think about this one?
Like I said, I feel overall Denmark is actually the stronger team right now. But Norway still has Snoot, and even a non-super active Snoot, even though a while ago he was actually streaming quite a bit and still competing a little bit here and there as well. But even an out-of-shape Snoot is probably better than the current lineup of Team Denmark. And I say that with a lot of respect. It's just that Snoot is so damn good. He's literally one of the very best players outside of Korea we've ever had in StarCraft. So, I don't know. But the rest of Norway is not useless either. It's just going to be a fun one. This one is tough to predict for me.
Yeah. And I completely agree here on this one. I feel like the lineup of Denmark is a little bit more depth. Like we know these guys a little better. I feel like Space Marine in particular, like the two best players are meeting one another, which I'm pretty hyped about, because Space Marine is definitely, in my opinion, the best one from Denmark. Going up against Snoot, the legend himself, once upon a time considered as the best player outside of South Korea.
Yep. I mean, one of the most successful ones we've ever had. You look at that career earnings, and I know you've done that plenty of times in the past, Todd.
Yes, he made a lot of money.
Yep, and he deserved all of it because he was just such a fantastic player, and he still has that magic. But I really love Space Marine for many reasons. I mean, he's a 57-month sub to my channel or something, and that, of course, means a lot to me, okay? Then I already love you.
57 months?
Yeah, he's been around forever. He's an OG. Now, what I really like about Space Marine is that I honestly see so much of my own gameplay in Space Marine's gameplay. Like, we have a very similar style in certain matchups, and it's been super cool for me to see because almost nobody else really mimics my own style. And obviously, you know, pros do what pros do for a reason, but I'm really happy to see like other people also play a little bit outside of the box. And I think with Space Marine, there's a good chance you're going to see a lot of Phoenixes.
Brazil's up currently 2-0 against Hungary. That's on Waldy's channel, if you guys want to check that out. And
oh, wow, Hong Kong got the victory over Switzerland.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's actually a bit surprising, isn't it? Who carried there for Hong Kong? I know they have a couple of like all-right Protosses.
Go-Go Joey, Bystork, and Action.
I mean, Go-Go Joey is quite a legend, to be honest. And Bystork is actually not bad. I mean, that's a really close one, too. Switzerland has a pretty good team.
Yeah, they have Penguin, Mamba, and Funk.
Yeah, unfortunately, Servos, or Surfers, I'm never sure how to pronounce his name, but Servos didn't play. And I actually think that Servos would have been a very useful asset to that team. So that's a bit of a shame for Switzerland. Can be neutral about nation-wise.
Penguin didn't carry.
Or maybe they just want to be neutral so badly that they didn't even want to participate in the tournament, Todd. Let's take a look at this awesome lineup. 3 really cool and fun dudes. Lille Cannon, who doesn't know about this guy? He loves mech, loves to stream, loves his long games. Basically, the European version of the man who shall not be named, but also a lot nicer. Lille Cannon, great dude. Space Marine, of course, like I said, a Protoss that I think plays quite similar to how I do. And then there is the legend himself, Spacey Macy, or Spazi Mazi. Both works, Todd.
Yeah, 22 years old, a Zerg player. So they've got one player of each race here. But yeah, Space Marine for me here is the ace. Yeah. He's the one who's really got to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Lil Cannon is good, but I would favor Snoot pretty heavily against him.
Yeah.
Whereas Space Marine and Snoot, I would like kind of say, you know, maybe Snoot is slightly favored in that matchup. Not sure if that's completely accurate, but... And then we have Poseidon and King as well on that Norwegian team.
Yeah, I must say...
that historically has had quite a bit of success in the past in that tournament.
Yeah, they won Season 1 and 2, didn't they? Like a long, long time ago. I mean, I wasn't part of those, so I don't remember exactly. But I know that they did very well. Poseidon, I don't know that much about. I know I've seen him in quite a few games. I know that he has a little bit of a history here and there with some people. King, however, is almost a complete unknown for me. I know once upon a time, apparently his name used to be Dark. We're going to have an interview just to get to know these teams a little bit better before we're going to start the final Nation War of the day. The captains are ready. Guys, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Ooh, look at these professional nerds. Now I know we're dealing with professionals. Beautiful webcams, beautiful microphones that work. Guys, I'm very, very excited for this Nation War. Lille Cannon, I'll kick things off with you. What did you guys think when you saw that you had to go up against Norway?
Well, overall, we're kind of happy about our draft. I think it's one of the better draft for us, and I think that we can do great.
Yeah, Snoot. When you hear him say words like that, what do you think?
No, I feel the same way. I think it's a quite even match. I think it could have been way worse, like having to play against France, for example, would have been very difficult. So I think we can actually get a really cool, close series here. So I'm really looking forward to it. I feel the same way as they do, basically.
I have one more question for you, Snoot, before I let Johan ask the questions. Okay, what can you tell us about King? Because I really don't know that much about King, and I have the feeling that I'm supposed to know a lot about King. So tell me about King.
King's been around for a very long time, since Wings of Liberty. Played a little bit on and off here and there, dabbled a little bit in CSGO at some point. Just basically a Zerg player that's been around for a very long time. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can hear some more from him in the winner interview later. But basically, he's just a... he's one of the stronger Zergs in Norway. Like, we had a lot of strong Zergs in the past, and King's always been there as one of the Zergs that's, has been up there.
Okay.
What's happened to, was it the Muzz Zero?
No, he's from Finland, but they did have Solo, right? Solo was Norwegian?
Yeah, there was a couple of players. Yeah, like Solo, there was one more.
Yeah, I know. Was there another Zerg, Snoot, back then? That's like around the level of Solo?
We've had a lot of Zergs.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of Zergs like that.
Where did they all go?
I've been, I don't know, like school. I think high school took a lot of the talent out of the Norwegian scene.
Yeah, because like Solo was on route or something as well.
Yeah, a lot of the young Zerg players like Cheesy Junk, Solo, Eco, like a lot of these Zergs, they're doing other things now, I guess.
And what about you, Snoot? How much have you been playing lately? Because a while ago you were all about that streaming life, but I must say, the last 2 weeks, I didn't see much Snoot.
Yeah, things are getting a little bit busy. Just started university, so it's a little bit different with all the paperwork and actually having to write essays and stuff. Like it's been quite a change. But before that, I was streaming a lot. Had a lot of fun this summer streaming and playing. But yeah, it's really difficult to play these days with the schedule and everything. And I think my level is taking quite a hit because, I don't know, it's just really difficult when you have less time to practice. I really don't scale well my level if I don't practice. So I'm really excited to see what sort of level I can bring today.
Okay, Lilla Cannon, who's the most on form on the Danish team, you think?
None of us. There's no one who's not in form. Everybody is ready.
No, who's the most on form? Is what I asked. Like, who's the best player on the team?
Oh.
You can start a civil war in Team Denmark over here, Todd. I think you guys are quite close, right? Especially you and Space Marine, maybe. I mean, even Spacey Macy is also very strong. Like, it's pretty even between the three of you, I would say, right?
We are pretty even. We also practice together. We're on the same team, so it's really hard to point out a player who is better than the other because we all know each other's playstyles. So it's really hard to say who's the better. So I wouldn't really point out one player or another. I would say we are even in everything.
Okay. Do you guys have a specific goal set in mind for these nation wars, or do you just take it match by match and for now you're only thinking about Norway?
We are taking it match by match, so we focus fully on the first match and then we just take the next match after. So we just take a win after win.
You guys are all pretty good friends with each other as well, right? When you go to the event, you travel together and stuff like that?
Yeah, we everybody in the team know each other in real life. We also know each other privately. So we also hang out and do other things than playing. So it boosts us socially and it gives a good team spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big important thing for us to do other things than playing.
Yeah, that's actually, I don't think that too many nations have that, where like all three players are actually like really close with each other, practice with each other, and then also travel to events. So I think Team Denmark's got some good spirit going on over there, but of course there's still Snoot on the other side. Guys, it's been a long day for us already, so we are pretty ready for the games. Well, obviously, if you guys have any final words.
Yeah, one sec. Snoot, I want to ask you kind of the same thing, because Norway is a nation that in the past has had some great results in nation wars. Are you guys... Do you have your eyes set on like a certain, top 8, top 4 or something? Like, are you guys thinking about top 4 a lot because it's offline and everything? Or do you just also take it match by match?
I think the challenge is so great right now that we are just focused on this match against Denmark, and then we'll see what happens from there. Like, top 4 would be way too ambitious at this stage, I think. But maybe we can win this one, and then maybe I'll practice a lot, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay. All right, thank you, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, let's get it started. First match is going to be Space Marine against Snoot. I think it's going to be pretty sick, this one. I'm very hyped about it. We might see some Phoenixes, you called it. What else can you say about Space Marine?
That he's like me, man. He's a Phoenix addict. It's adapts into Phoenix and then more Phoenix, and then when people think like, is this
you guys
way
go to meetings and stuff?
Is this way you transition? No, yeah, like, I mean, hey man, I was like, I'm ready, I make Phoenixes. He's like, brother, let's not even quit, let's just keep going, okay? He's like, our moms didn't raise quitters. I'm like, damn right, son. So we've been building Phoenixes ever since, pretty much. I must say, before this interview, I thought this was really 50-50. I'm leaning slightly more towards Denmark right now. After the interview, Snoot not seeming super confident. And I know that's traditional Snoot. But when Snoot says these things right now, I actually kind of believe it. If he has been busy with uni, I think Denmark has a small edge here.
Look at that experience, though. 40 wins and 20 losses. That's like maybe the most games out of anyone in this tournament.
Yeah, that's pretty
crazy.
That's
a lot of games. 29 years of age for Snoot. And Space Marine, 25 years old. Only just a little bit of MMR separates them. Let's get it going here. Starting in the top left-hand side here of Acropolis, playing as the Bluezerg. It is Norway's Snoot.
And in the right bottom side of Acropolis, it is my spirit animal, my Danish brother from another mother. It is Space Marine. Now, obviously, I would look very silly if he doesn't build any Phoenixes at all, right? But, you know, pretty much every single time I've seen Space Marine play in the past, he builds those Phoenixes. And he's not one of those guys that skips out on the +1 air weapons, okay? Because when they do that, Todd, kiddies get sad and I start getting incredibly sad. But Space Marine is not somebody who would ever forget his +1.
Yeah, I mean, if you play with that Phoenix style very heavily and you make like more than a certain number, like let's say like more than, 7, 8, maybe even sometimes before that, I think it's always worth it to get that.
It's
and
very
in
hard
particular against Queens.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's very hard to kill Queens if you don't have +1. But we'll see. Also, of course, very fun to watch Snoot play here. I mean, other than his...
Snoot does make a lot of Queens, to be honest.
Yep. I mean, he was one of the ones that started that, right? He had a small Queen problem. I remember him defending like 27 Marines with Stim and +1. With just Queens.
It would be funny if like this is just a matchup of mass Queens against mass Phoenixes. It's just like a mono battle.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that they have a game like that. I have seen them play in the past, and these things are very possible.
And then suddenly Snoot breaks the truth, and he goes for 1 single infestor.
That's true. A lot of people... I mean, like, maybe we shouldn't talk about Phoenix too much, because in case he doesn't build any Phoenixes...
No, he will.
Yeah, most likely he will. A lot of people are like, why don't you just, like, build some infestors? It's because it's not that easy. If you go into the infestors too quick, then you'll lose your Queens, and you're going to lose a lot of Overlords, you'll lose your 4th base, and 3-base infestor is not going to be good, because then, of course, the Protoss can transition. So obviously, you need to respect them, and you need to delay infestors to make sure that you can get the economy that you need for infestors, and that you can get the amount of Queens. There is the Twilight Council. Now, for almost every other player, this would mean, like, he's most likely going to go Twilight, Robo, Dark Shrine, Archon drop, right? But, like I said, Space Marine is not any other Protoss. I think he's an adept into kind of double Stargate guy, but we'll see. Maybe he became a normie, Todd. I'd be very sad if he was a normie.
I'd be very sad if I knew he was going to watch that VOD later and hear that about him.
He's a good
I think it's okay to mix in different builds, right? And stuff at times, especially if you think that Snoot's really going to anticipate some sort of mass Phoenix style. But yeah, as you said, it definitely could be Glaives adapts into double Stargate Phoenixes.
Yeah. It's like watching one of my own replays. I love it so much. I mean, slightly different, but same idea.
You also open adept into Phoenixes a lot? Or?
Absolutely. I mean, that's my go-to. That's my standard. So, Glaive adapts 3-gate.
You changed it, because I think before you went Phoenixes, like directly...
That was a long time ago, but I actually think that is a bit weaker. But it can be better as well if you do a good job in hiding the 2nd Stargate. But this is actually the build that I have been playing for a very, very long time. I don't get the Stalker, I don't get the Sentry, but, to each their own, right? Like, I get why Space Marine does the things he does. I must say there's one thing he definitely, I think, does better than me often. Whoa, okay, that's a robot, though. That's a little different. And look at that Sentry as well. Now, slowly, I'm starting to think, are we going to see something weird with maybe a force field on that ramp eventually?
Yeah, or even he can start on building up on energy and then eventually attack. with a bunch of sentries, immortals, and a ton of glaives, adepts. Dark Shrine going, he's getting everything.
Yeah, he's getting glaives, and then... So he's not totally a normie. He's like, I kind of want to be a normie, but at the same time...
I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
So, I'll just embrace that.
I'll do it in my own way, okay? So he's gonna... Well, we'll see where this goes.
I mean, it's very hard to be ready for everything, right? Like, against DTs, you need spores for detection a lot of the time, unless you've got lair. Against adepts, you need a ton of units on the ground. What do spores and units cost? Not just minerals, they also cost you drones that you have to use.
This could be some really next level metagaming as well, because it almost seems that Snoot is like, yeah, I know that this guy's going to open up with adepts and glaives, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to counterattack with a lot of roaches potentially, but then Space Marine would obviously be very safe against that counterattack because there's no lair yet. I'm a bit confused about that shield battery as well. I don't know what he saw, that he felt he needed the shield battery there, but let's see if these adepts he's going to let it finish. No, yes, a couple.
2 of them?
Into... 2 in the third, 1 in the natural. I think that's what happened. I think he messed it up a little bit. I think that was a small boo-boo. Happens to the best of us.
And lair is now on its way to completing.
This one will definitely be cancelled. That's where I was going with it. I thought the roaches were quite far out of position. Now there are a couple of Dark Templars, but we did already see there is a spore crawler. There's a spore in every base, correct? I'm not crazy.
Yeah, but there's no units there.
Where are the roaches? Snoot! Okay, Snoot is paying attention, so he's gonna pull the drones and he's gonna keep his spore crawler safe. So far, I'd say pretty good for Snoot, right? Look at that.
He's defending well so far. He's 59 walkers against 45. He starts to spire.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, there's no Stargate, right? So a couple of mutas could be fantastic. Well, this time he lets it finish up. There are 4 or 5 roaches waiting for these adepts, and sure, these adepts will get a little bit of damage done, but in the end they will go down rather quickly. 5 drones in this phase in the game, like, if Snoot has 45 workers and you kill 5 drones, I'm like, that's a really big deal. But if he's at 62 over 3 bases, it really doesn't hurt that much. I like it for Snoot so far. Very, very well played by the veteran himself, Jens.
The Jedi. Whatever happened to the Jedi sweater that he was rocking everywhere?
I don't know.
Little Snoot Skywalker.
Oh, really? Is that where that name came from?
Yeah.
Okay. I had no idea. I've never seen that sweater. I was always wondering, why did they call him Snoot Skywalker? But that's because I'd never seen Star Wars. Only The Phantom Menace, which was a very good movie.
Shut up.
But then they tried to make me watch the old Star Wars, and I'm like, these graphics are so bad. It's like, it's The Phantom Menace or bust for me, okay? So, that's
You've watched almost nothing. You haven't seen The Matrix, right?
Dodge this. I've seen that clip in the end.
Which one?
Dodge this. When the girl shows up behind the dude, she's like, dodge this.
Oh.
That's awesome. I have it as a sound clip.
Oh, you haven't seen the movie?
No, of course not.
Oh my god.
One day, Todd, one day. I heard they're releasing another Matrix movie soon.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll go on a little Matrix evening, okay?
Well, you got a lot of catching up to do.
But I heard only the first one is very good. And then number 2 and number 3 are not that good. That's what I heard.
Oh.
The
Oh my
Prism got sniped.
That's a sick catch.
Archons went down as well.
Yeah, 148 supply to 109, and now Snoot's on the offensive.
Space Marine is in so much trouble, though.
Yeah,
he's got
not
like
ready.
nothing. Losing those Archons was deadly, but even if he has the Archons here, I'm still not sure if I really like this
He's got Immortals against Mutas.
Yeah, he's got a terrible anti-air army. I mean, Snoot can just kill the Nexus here and back up. What are the sentries doing over there? What?
They're trying to fight.
That's like me in Paris yesterday. We just don't know where to go. I tried to open the wrong Airbnb, guys. It was a disaster, but not as big of a disaster as this game for Space Marine. Snoot is all over this Danish Protoss. And I think that's just it, man. Those Immortals are surrounded by Lings and Roaches. Jens, the veteran, he still has it.
Well, actually, it's kind of getting cleaned up, but I mean, the Mutas are still left over. He can still keep on flying around. Phoenix production now starts, but it's going to be one at a time.
1 Stargate, 2 base Protoss. It's going to be very, very difficult. Space Marine is going to end up losing these Pythons as well.
He's got 2 Stargates.
Okay. I'll get +1.
He did get there eventually, by the way. He did go for those 2 Stargates, just a little late.
The gates are going to be unpowered as well. That's very painful. So that means like almost no production now at all. And I mean, if those units on the ground go down, I just think that the Zergling count is too much. Johan, you always tell me to look at one thing in life. I'm looking at it and it doesn't look good for Space Marine.
Yeah, there's a lot of supply here for Snoot. 150 to 82 right now. He's looking for the finish. There's not much entire left over. Those Mutas gonna go for the killing blow. And those Phoenixes can only do so much on their own. Lings are gonna keep on flooding in.
Yeah, the floodgates are open. That's a lot of Ling damage, and that is going to be a GG. Snoot will take the 1-0 lead here for Norway. I must say in pretty convincing fashion as well. And that's not the Space Marine that I'm used to seeing, okay? And I think that right now he tells himself, that's why I always play double Stargate, because I hate Mutas. It's very hard to deal with Mutas if you don't have Phoenix. That's why.
Yeah, I wonder actually, why did he go for that build specifically? But I mean, obviously he's a player that can play many builders. You can't just chalk it down to he went for the wrong build or something. But I think getting the War Prism caught, obviously that was a big turning point too.
Yeah, because you were right. At one point, it's like, well, he is losing the fight, but it's still somewhat. It felt that everything went wrong, and he was still putting up a fight. So then imagine if the sentries are in a better position or location. Imagine if that War Prism makes it home. Even if it's just a Prism and one Archon, that would already be massive, because then you can start the juggling. You can get a couple of extra hits off, maybe buy enough time for a shield battery or two, and then it all could have been a lot better. So unfortunately for him, it wasn't meant to be, and Snoot will take the 1-0 lead. Our second match is going to be, what was it again, Johan? Lille Cannon versus, some TVP. You know,
what did you say his nickname?
Lille Cannon.
No, but his opponent.
Poseidon.
Poseidon, yeah.
Why? What's wrong with
No,
it?
because you just said like Lille Cannon versus like
Oh, I didn't say his name?
No.
At all? Oh, it's just because I get excited when I see Lille Cannon play TVP. Do you know that he eliminated me once of a WCS qualifier? Lille Cannon, that is.
In what fashion? What's the story there?
The story is game one, I was like, he's going to play Mac, and he thinks that I don't know how to play Mac, but I'm a star against Mac, okay, Todd? So I put this little Cannon nerd in his place, and I felt really good about myself. And then he had some very gnarly one base all in, like proxy everything, and then like first time I just didn't defend it that well, and I'm like, you know what? I'll take it more serious next game. So he did it again, but it has Stim too. What kind of a one base all in has Stim? And this is in the old patch.
A Lille Cannon all in.
When Stim took 7 years, and I'm like, what does this even mean, Lille Cannon? It was very smart, so yeah, he beat me.
It's tricky to defend his unique builds if you haven't faced them many times. I feel like a lot of them, you're meant to lose to them the first time.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, actually, Lille Cannon is like a player of extremes. It feels like he either cheeses you and the game's really quick, or he splits the map and he's like, I'm never, ever going to attack, and we're going to play the longest game ever. I mean, even his MMR is funny. Like, you know, like
he's definitely been way higher than that as well. I don't know, maybe the current map was not that good, or he's struggling TVZ, but I've seen Lille Cannon easily at 6,200 as well in the past. Poseidon, there's a player that I'm a little bit more in the dark about. But this is going to be fun, because I do think Poseidon is quite good, and obviously Lille Cannon has a reputation where, like you exactly said, Todd, it's either maybe super long, drawn-out games, or it's something wild and crazy and bizarre and unique. So we'll see. I really think that this is one of these matches where every match in the traditional Pro League format is very important as well. Going 0-3 here would be a disaster, and even just 1 and 2 would be very, very rough. So we'll see how this one plays out.
Let's get it going here, starting in the bottom right-hand side of the map. Playing as the blue Protoss, it is Poseidon.
And in the left top side, it is the main base of the Danish Terran. Been to quite a few WCS events this year. It is Lille Cannon. That was my best Danish accent.
You're a disco bloodbath.
Could very well be. Now, what is the traditional Lille Cannon build on this map? It's obviously a very large map. I wouldn't mind maybe like a Hellion drop in the main base or something. He's capable of that. Proxying like a starport, building a medevac, and dropping 4 Hellions in the main base.
It's still a cannon. He's capable of anything. If he wants to go for some Nathanias battle cruisers, he's going to do that.
Yeah, and he's actually...
Without the 17 turrets in his main base, but probably still go for them.
Well, you're spot on there, Todd. You are spot on.
Proxy Pylon from Poseidon. He's the one about to bring in the hit. Can Lille Cannon read into this? He's going across the map for a scalp right now. He'll see that there is no second pylon inside of the main base, maybe, and then realize what's up.
I mean, that would be quite big, especially if he takes both gases. I mean, I must say, this is not a very polarized cheese, to be honest. It's like, well, one pilot in the main taking double gas, no expand. It's like, okay. I'm actually not sure if this is going to work out great against Little Cannon, because Little Cannon is now... we'll see. Should be all fine. Let me take a look at the main base of Little Cannon. He's actually opening a factory on one base, and if there's one thing you don't want to cheese dot, it's a one base Terran opening. There's no CC here, right? I think this is shaping up to be pretty good for Little Cannon, but we'll see how this plays out.
Maybe a cheeky lockdown, if you will.
Did he cancel the CC? Am I just blind and I did not see that? Because, no, nope, nothing is cancelled. So this is just the opening that Little Cannon goes for, and it's going to work out very, very well here. Because there is a proxy gate, and if there's one thing that proxy gates are good for, is to get a cancel, right? Repair, fast expand reactor. You don't have enough units. Okay, alright. You don't have enough units normally to deal with the pressure of that second gateway, so then you're forced to cancel your expand. But Little Cannon never made an expand.
Where do we go from there? Like, Little Cannon scouts the expo, so he can now expo himself if he wants to, that is. Like, if he wants to play aggressive, can do that as well. Just keep on making more units. Yeah, that eBay block.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, if somebody did this, I was like, alright, 4 gates, like, you're asking for it.
Well, it seems that Little Cannon is still a little bit worried. He obviously still knows about the gate there. And just because your opponent dropped the Nexus, that doesn't necessarily mean that they will never attack you anymore. So I don't hate the bunker there. But I would like to see a command center eventually of Little Cannon, because there is still a Nexus close to finishing up. And you can't really stay on one base against two base forever. Unless he's just going to run down the map. On this map? One base on Lintot? Is that a thing?
I mean, with that Nexus being so far forward. Oh!
That's
get the Reaper.
Gonna get a Cyclone. Now he's gonna build the CC. 3 minutes and 50 seconds into the game. So a very, very late second command center for our Terran player.
Hey, this does feel very late in comparison, but because he's building up like higher tech units with already going for, you know, the Cyclone and everything. The goal sometime here is going to be to just defend whatever's being thrown at you and then counterattack, but Little Cannon, I mean, he doesn't have the expand yet. Poseidon just checked this, and he saw there was no CC there, so he might just sit back himself and be happy with the position that he's in, already being like very well saturated on the expansion.
Yeah, even though it might feel like a little bit exposed and you might feel a bit naked here, right? And like, can it get awkward? Yes, it can. The one thing that's important though is that he starts getting a robo, I think. Like, I know there is an Oracle out there, but Oracles can die to Cyclones, especially with that lock-on ability. So I wouldn't really want to rely on an Oracle as my only detection. But I think if he just goes a Phoenix and a Robo, if he builds a Robo like right now, I think he's in a very sweet spot actually. He's only up 5 workers, which is not an insane amount because his opening has been weird too. Basically everything about this game, for it being a high-level StarCraft game, has been very weird. Like if these were 2 diamonds, I'd be like, yeah, this is kind of what I expect. But these are 2 very good players, so I'm in a weird zone right now.
You know, by the way, for the first part of every clan war here, the first 3 maps are always the same.
Yes.
But there's no Triton in there. Poseidon.
I don't get it. What?
Never mind.
Poseidon, Triton? What am I missing here?
Everything.
What is that, Avengers or something?
Oh my god. Never mind.
I have no idea what you're on about.
So yes, Cloak. How much detection is there for Poseidon?
There is one.
Wait, is it across the map or? Now it is.
It's getting escorted, mate.
He felt something. He felt a tingle.
Yeah, and he does have a lot of energy on the Oracle, so he can actually revelate this. Cloak is activated. Where are those Phoenixes and those Oracles? It's gonna die so quick, by the way.
Yeah, it's nice for Poseidon that this started shooting when it was away from the main base, because now he had more time to come back and defend it.
I wonder if he cancels Banshee speed, because I think he wants to go full mass speed Banshee here, but do you really do that against a man with 6 Phoenix? Because I know that I would not, ever. Hyperflux rotors? Hyperflight rotors? I was close. Alright. I would cancel that, but I'm not Lily Cannon. He's actually getting the Nathanius turrets as well.
Well,
against so many Phoenixes, I guess. Yeah.
Wait, is that 4 turrets?
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting there.
Yeah, 4
13 more and then like
no, he's already
Nathanias level.
That's 6 already. My eyes are really not that good, guys. This far away.
That was Depo.
But I think he's going up to 7 turrets. Well, he at least has 6. That's 6, right? Yeah, that's a good number. That's a good number of turrets for a 2-base Terran.
No nonsense, Lily Cannon.
The thing is, Phoenixes will still get in. Like, you can fly through here, and then you can just hover above the mineral line. You kill 12 SCVs, and you recall out. Wow, that poor adept. Okay, don't
We talk
fly
about how
over.
Lily Cannon splits the map, by the way, sometimes. Like, right now he's having to play defensive. He might already be in this
That's kind of cool.
state of mind where he's going to do this.
He's just going to donate Banshees over and over again. How is this so close worker-wise, Johan? How? A Terran player that expanded at the 4-minute mark.
Poseidon is not making probes super consistently, I guess.
Yeah. This is crazy, because I really feel like he should have been... Lily Cannon should have been down like 17 workers, okay? That's how TVP is supposed to look like right now. 2 more factories going up, so yeah, we're in for a long one. If I was Poseidon, Johan, I would scrap that Twilight Council. I would scrap those forges. I drop a fleet beacon and 3 more Stargates, okay? It's like, you want to play Mac? Fine. Take this. Phoenix, Carrier, Disruptor, Tempest. I think that's slightly better than Gateway units, but... Oh! Where?
But he doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't know yet.
You know, because his robo's so late, he doesn't have any observers. And if you don't have any observers, this kind of stuff is bound to happen. It's really good harassed by Lily Cannon, guys. So I want to give Lily Cannon kudos, obviously, for trying and for the effort. But Poseidon is not supposed to be taking this much damage here. This really hurts. 16 workers. And he only has 43 probes. It's actually a really bad economy.
Yeah, I mean, he can rebuild that pretty quickly with Chrono Boost and all the Nexuses, but it's pretty annoying to lose this many, clearly. We got Blink on the way, 1-1 upgrades, and the Robo Bay for Poseidon. Is it going to be Colossus? We'll find out in a second. And double
not.
tank production.
He goes Colossus here, thought. I need a hug. I mean, he's gonna get Blink Stalkers, and Colossus are obviously like nice. Having like 1 or 2 Colossus against Mech is not the end of the world, but I really think that Disruptors are better.
You know, I feel like a mass tank style with the new EMP and then Shockwave would be really strong.
It is very strong.
Because it's the size of the sun.
Yeah. It's very, very strong. Unless your opponent has everything that flies, okay? Because then tanks get very sad. They just kind of sit there. That Raven is also very sad. That Raven will go down almost immediately. Man.
Oh my god, that Oracle.
Yeah, imagine if a Cyclone would have just locked on that Oracle instead. But there is a Disruptor on the way, so that's good news. But Banshees are still going strong. This is simply not the economy you want. Like, if you want to play this composition as a Protoss, right? A lot of Gateway units, double Forge. You better be damn sure that you have like an 80 probe economy, so you can just throw wave after wave of units at your opponent. And even if you take a bad fight, it's all good. But now if he takes a bad fight, he's broke, okay? And that would be a disaster. Poseidon is in trouble, Todd. Even if the supply...
Did you think about attacking him for a second? That was weird.
Yeah. Like, should I run into those 7 tanks? No, Lily Cannon is playing solid. He is really finding openings where you're not even supposed to find one. And Poseidon, maybe a little bit nervous here. I think making a couple of questionable choices.
But getting Disruptors now against Mech. I guess he's going to have a lot more mobility. If he stays on the map, he can threaten a very quick counterattack if Lily Cannon moves out. But does Lily Cannon really plan on moving out? Like, so far, it's only Hellions being sent across the map to really snipe a ton of probes.
Lily Cannon likes maxing out, Johan. That's what he likes. I must say, how many observers do we have? My lovely observer right now. There are 2. Where are they? Can we take a look? So one is with the army and one is kind of supposed to guard the main base. I think when you play against Mech and you have time... Whoa, what are you doing with your air units? No!
What?
He's just gonna lose so many of them.
He just picked up something with all the Phoenixes, so none of them was shooting. He's like, I don't want you to be on the ground.
We call that the Bronze League Hero Special. Happens to the best of us, though. Every now and then I was like, 3 Phoenix, fly in, go harass. And then like they lift 3 units. I'm like, oh, I'm really stupid.
I meant to do that.
That's actually kind of crazy. Like, he almost made a move there where he's like, I just don't really care about my Phoenixes that much anymore. But But I still think Phoenixes have some value here, especially against the Hellion arrest that has been happening.
And picking up tanks. Yeah.
And it's going to keep happening. That's a cool wall. Is there a hole in the wall? Yes, there is.
Oh my god, no. No way.
Ah, that's a lot of probes. Johan, are you familiar with the guessing game? Don't show us yet, Observer, but how many workers has Little Cannon killed so far in this game? I think you're pretty good at the guessing game.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
I'm very good at the guessing game. How many workers do you think that Little Cannon has killed in this game so far?
37?
No, way more, mate.
Yeah?
I think it's 52. 64! Not even I am that good at the guessing game. That's a lot of workers that he just killed. I mean, insane. 64 probes in a 12-minute game.
That's pretty sick.
And now he's getting his first BC.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
Why? He's gotta chill, mate. Little Cannon
He's gonna get Ghost eventually, right?
Yeah, he's gonna get everything. He's gonna get sense. But I think what's gonna happen is that Poseidon's gonna attack him, and then eventually... Oh, he's got so many stalkers against a man with 1,000,000 siege tanks.
Yeah, but he's never gonna fight the tanks.
I hope not. He does snipe
This
the
is
planetary.
just to stay mobile and snipe stuff, and it works out pretty well. He gets that.
Tell me that
planetary
again when he
fortress.
blinks forward, okay?
He's not gonna.
No?
Please don't.
He thought about
Please,
it.
I've already cast Has doing this. Like.
He thought about it. Hey, good job there with the attack, blocking the Hellions.
No, please.
Think about it.
Let's go back.
Blink! Come on, Poseidon. You're not afraid of some Terran player, are you?
You like the devil on the shoulder?
Yeah. Like, bro, do you know what he did to your probes? You're just gonna sit there and let him do that to your probes, mate? Come on. Blink forward, brother.
Actually, that Thor deserves to be blinked on.
Yeah, those Thors are a little too far off right now. It's like, what if I blink in from...
There's the devil talking to that Thor as well. He's like, come on. You killed that planetary fortress. Are you really not going to do anything about it?
The drilling class is finishing up as well. A couple of Widow Mines are very, very good against Gabriel units. He goes for 3 more Robots now. Cool. There's a lot of Disruptors and a lot of Immortals can obviously be very powerful, but how's he going to deal with the BC? Is that a Stalker recall? Blink! Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Teleport. Tactical jump, I should say. Not a teleport. How tactical was it? Where did he jump to? The back of his main? Yep. No, that's a new one.
Oh, he was right there.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yamato is on the way as well. Whoa, Raven got picked up there. I must say some good Stalker movement here by Poseidon, right? He got the Planetary, which is very good against a mech player. You always want to keep him on 3 bases. And he's fighting a couple of expensive units here and there.
If he could get into the main base, that'd be much better for him, but it's hard on this map.
That is indeed going to be rather difficult. Does that count as a forward blink, Todd? Wow! Little Cannon took a planetary as third. I just realized that. I guess he's like, you know what? I just killed so many probes. I'm just gonna casually take a planetary at my 3rd base. And at my 4th. And at my 5th. This is not a man with a lot of orbitals.
Disruptors are already in position. Yeah, this is an insane amount of Stalkers. Like, the only way to use this very effectively against like a big mech army is just to use the mobility, and I think that's what he plans on doing. Is just posturing forward here on the top side, scouting with the Phoenix. Don't do it!
Oh, he's gonna
my God.
do it! Blinks into a planetary, blinks into a couple of tanks as well, and don't forget about the BCs that are getting closer and closer as well. And these tanks are starting to get some good upgrades too, by the way, guys. Yes, the Stalkers are 3-3, which is awesome, but the tanks are at 2-2 already as well, and +3, quite close to finishing up.
I think a Prism could be sick.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got a Sensor Tower, right? Sensor Tower.
Yeah, but it's in the center.
turrets.
If you go through the corners.
Yeah, there's 7 missile turrets there, mate.
No, there's only like 1 or 2 in the corners.
Can we take a look at the...
Yeah, look. Okay, 2. Yeah, if you get War Prism speed.
Yeah, double, you know. Call it the D-Day invasion. Like 2 prisms, 8 zealots. Go! Actually, that is really fun. Like, sometimes if I have games like that, I'm like, alright, you think you're safe with your turrets? And you send in like 3 prisms, you know, and 2 may fall. But prism number 3 wipes in 27 zealots and be like, ha! Take that! It's amazing.
That's the way. I mean, the army of Little Cannon is very mobile. It's not like the Stalkers is like a very durable army, so Poseidon is kind of trapped in his composition right now. He needs to trade them, but he needs to trade them effectively, which is very hard to do. Like, how do you trade these stalkers effectively against mass tanks?
Most of the time you're not going to, until he moves out, and maybe then you can start getting a couple of kills. Meanwhile, Little Cannon just continues finding a couple of kills. I would really love to see an observer or two in the middle of the map as well. Wow, what a blink.
That was a lot of surprise.
Is he still on 2 ups? Yeah.
Surprise, he says 35 stalkers.
I mean, I don't know if you agree, but I would say at least 5 observers in a game like this. 4 maybe stationary on the map and 1 with your army. That's how I would have it. What? Those are 2 ups?
A few.
Oh my goodness. It's got 2 ups. Right next to each other in the middle of the map.
They're mating.
It's like, you want more observers, Johan? Well, or Kev, close your eyes. We're about to...
Family is about to get bigger.
Yeah. We're about to create some. You want to know where observers come from? No, I don't want to have that talk yet.
All started with a disco ball.
Dark Shrine on the way now as well, and more BCs.
Why not?
I mean, eventually, that Stalker arm. Oh, tactical job. All 3 of them at once. He did get 1 Stalker there though, Todd.
All 4 of them even.
He's gonna get so many. I'm surprised we don't see any goals yet. I'm definitely with you there. Like an EMP.
Hey, his economy wasn't that sick yet, I guess.
Like, I think a single EMP should be able to hit 47 of those Stalkers. So, if you really want to overdo it, you can make 2 ghosts.
We're in this kind of game where Poseidon was trying to play a certain way, and Little Cannon is like, I'm just going to build the perfect army composition and then wipe you out. But because Poseidon was playing with mostly gateway units and a ton of stalkers, his army is going to be a lot worse on paper.
And he has been losing an insane amount of workers throughout the game. I think Little Cannon is really enjoying this, and I think Poseidon has felt very, very frustrated throughout this game. At least I know I would if I was him.
Well, you would have gone for 4 carriers and won easily, so...
Oh, I would have been loving this game. But if I was playing like he was, with gateway units, like I used to play like this as well against Mac, where I'm like, I'm just going to make a lot of gates, and then I'm like, are you ever going to move out? Because the gateway style is very good against mech players that move out a bit too early, right? And you swarm them, you get zealots on top of the tanks. It's really cool. But then you play against a guy like Little Cannon, and he's like, no, I'm actually perfectly fine where I'm at right now. You're like, bro, I'm maxing out on Zealot Stalker over here. Can you please move out? And they don't do it. And then eventually you go up against an invincible army. You keep losing probes. Those are very, very gnarly games to play. Oh no, look at those tanks. Look at those BCs. Don't do it, Poseidon. It's a trap.
Yeah, Little Cannon is just slow expanding.
6 more games.
This game could be really long.
I have the feeling what's going to happen is that eventually Poseidon is going to be jebaited into a fight. Widowmine's there as well.
That's not a blink he wants to go for.
It's going to be a super bad fight, and then he remaxes, and he takes another super bad fight, and then I think the game ends.
Oh my god, Disruptors.
Oh, his army's so bad. Okay, he's about to lose a lot of his army. The BCs are a little bit exposed, but good micro so far on the side of Little Cannon. He obviously wants to save them, and he does save the majority of them. Poseidon has now dropped 80 supply. I think that was a pretty bad fight. So now he's going to remax. He's going to try. Oh, he's making more stalkers.
No.
Yes, he just wiped in 11 more stalkers. I wish I was kidding. I'm not making this up, Johan.
He's channeling his inner Azuops.
Yes.
You know, I used to joke back then, I was like, this is called the Stalker Syndrome.
Yeah,
if you make too many Stalkers, you lose.
Well, it's definitely, that was very true in Wings of Liberty, right? Because everybody made so many Stalkers. He's making Stargates!
Well, against Terran, yeah. Against Zerg, you won if you didn't.
Yeah. He's making 3 more Stargates, though. He's getting +1 air weapons. I think the one building you're also looking for, my friend, is the Fleet Beacon. And he's getting that now, too. But unfortunately, he just burned through like a 4K bank, I believe it was. Stalkers are deceivingly expensive. People really sleep on that. They always think Stalkers are for free, but they're pretty expensive. Especially if you make 20 of them at a time.
Battlecruisers flying across the map. They've got some Yamato to work with. Tactical jump to get out of there.
Yeah, like I love Carrier Tempest and stuff and Disruptor, but if you don't do it immediately, you look at the upgrades now. These are 3/3 BCs with Yamato. against 1-0 eventual strong Stargate units, like, yeah, that's when Tempest and Carriers also don't deal that well.
What does he not use Yamato? There we go. And they already blinked.
Yep.
Rip.
My goodness. We're closing in on the 100 workers now, right? We must. 97. 81. Not that close.
You're off your game today.
Yeah. I really am. I know he just
So
showed up.
Tempest is what you want to get, right?
I think a mixture. I think you want to get maybe 6, 7 Tempest. I mean, the more... actually, maybe even more
Where
than
those
that.
slugs veins at?
Well, yeah, man.
Soon.
Yeah. You never know what Blizzard has in store for us in 2020, right? Anyway, Stalkers are going to move forward. Oh my
God.
goodness. He's done it. He blinks into tanks,
The
into
absolute
mines, into BCs. He does get a planetary at the cost of 17 Stalkers.
I feel like I'm watching a game of Feast. You know, the
Yeah,
Belgian Protoss?
Yeah, Grubby student. That's how they used to call it.
Remember how Sase made only Dryads in Warcraft 3?
Yeah.
Well, Feast, as he had his own Dryad in
be
StarCraft
honest,
2, the Stalker.
To be honest, Sasa also only made Stalkers in StarCraft. 73 Stalkers have gone down. Sasa is just a man who knows what he wants in an RTS, you know. He picks Night Elf, he makes Dryads in every matchup. Then he decided to make only Stalkers with Protoss.
Oh my god, this Stalker is gonna melt.
Into tanks. You don't even know. He blinks forward again into tanks, stores tanks,
everything.
mines. Guys, I think that is going to be it. Poseidon, you have lost 140 Stalkers this game. That is a couple too many, my friend.
Look at this supply.
Now he's like, 5 Archons. I feel like we're watching a cooking show. He's like, he's sprinkling a couple Archons in the end. You may think that this is ruined, okay? But it's not ruined yet. Like, maybe we went a little heavy on the Stalkers. Maybe we should have gone for 2 teaspoons Stalkers less.
There's no mistakes here, just happy accidents.
It's a happy accident. You know, we're going to sprinkle, and now we're going to cover it up with a few more of those Stalkers. You guys may think that it's going to be too strong, but it won't be. Hey.
Well, considering the stuff you've been eating since you got here, I don't want to imagine a culinary show with you. Burgers, wings, pizza.
To be honest, I wouldn't want to imagine that either, Todd. I'm not a very good cook.
Subway sandwiches.
Yeah, I'm a simple guy. I know what I like. I go to a place, it's good, I keep going.
Yeah, I know what I like too. Not what you eat.
I'm a happy eater, Todd. Maybe a little too happy, okay? I know, guys, I know, don't worry. Alright, scan goes down.
Yamato time.
Yeah, Archons are not that good against PCs. Ideally, for the people who are like, what are you talking about, Roddy? They are good. They can soak up a lot of damage, especially if you cover them with a Guardian Shield. But the problem is that Archons almost never get in range of BCs. You know, like most good Terran players will never just like, oh, you've got 5 Archons under my clumped up BCs. What a bloody shame.
Pew pew.
So most of the time they'll just get Yamato, then you're gonna run out of gas very quickly. And obviously the attack of Archons is so slow that it's very easy to out-micro Archons.
It's a Ghost Academy.
Yeah.
Now that he has an 80 supply lead. Like, yeah, you know what? What would be the final nail in the coffin? Some Ghost.
The Big Bang Theory. 1 EMP.
24 more probes have died, by the way. How many is it now? Guess. Too late.
Yeah. I was gonna be off again. It's been a long day. Like, I'm better at the guessing game when I'm sharp. And also this TV is kind of far away, so I feel like I'm not in the game as much as I would like to be. But we'll work on it, guys. Yeah, I mean, Lillecannon is having the time of his life. I would love to hype this up for you guys, but Poseidon is obviously super dead in this game. He is broke. He has simply made a couple of wrong strategic decisions. I think opening up with the Phoenix was not bad at all. The way he threw them away was kind of bad.
Oh my god, look at resources lost. It's double.
Oh my god.
How often do you see this?
Not often.
Only when a Protoss masses Stalkers as a main army.
Against mech. And blinks forward into tanks,
Oh
PFs,
my god, that's
mines.
more than double. That's insane.
Yeah, that is actually pretty mental. Like I said, I really think the TLDR of this game is that Poseidon was just hoping that Lillecannon would move out with a mech push.
Yeah.
But Lillecannon never did, and at that point, I think Poseidon
I don't think he did too much studies on Lillecannon and how he plays.
Well, you know, mech players are supposed to move out eventually, Johan. Just for some reason he did not. I don't
Oh
think
my
that's
god,
okay.
he can't even kill one single BC. This is insane.
No, of course not. He's about to get Yamato'd into oblivion. And Lillecannon is getting close to tying up this nation war. GG! We're one apiece after a mech clinic. Orbital commands, and Lillecannon says no. Reaper fast expands, and Lillecannon says no. Sitting on tanks and PFs, Lillecannon says yes, and he gets the W.
That was option 3.
Yeah.
Eventually we got there. So it's going to be Spazzy Mazzy going up against King.
Yeah. A CVZ, right? I have no...
Do you say it's Spazzy Mazzy or not?
I think it's Spacey Macy.
Spacey Mazy.
Yeah. That's what he
I'm
told
not
me.
saying that.
I mean, there's a chance that he was trolling me. People have trolled in the past. As we're going to take a look at some of the highlights of this previous game. If you like probes, guys, cover your eyes. Okay, I'll tell you when it's over. Because I have the feeling we're going to see this a couple times. First with red flames, then with blue flames. There was a Banshee. There was a battle cruiser.
Everything.
There
The
we go.
probes as a species were going extinct this game.
I guess they do bleed on Disco Bloodbath. I mean, I love how this is a highlight of Hellions driving by. Which sick puppy made this highlight video? Okay, I'm going to have a tough word with
We
you.
got a bunch of Terran players in
Yeah.
production.
I mean, I know
They enjoyed every second of it.
I know Funka and Coca are part
I
of
just
this
hope they,
production,
like, the final moment is the stalkers blinking on top of the PF.
but- Of course. You guys like the graphics of like Stalker legs flying through the air? Well, don't worry, we've got you covered.
Oh, there we go.
Here we go. Thanks.
Which one of you sickos back there made this?
They should really give a parental warning, you know, when we play videos like this. Yeah, Disrupt is going down. Jeez Louise. I feel like this video just becomes insulting towards Poseidon. Can we see at least one BC go down? No?
Well, that didn't happen. Oh,
well,
they did.
yeah.
Just the one.
That's one. Like, yeah, Poseidon got a kill too. Bam! Back to every Stalker being
I just
blown
want to
up.
know if they have the blink into the PF.
Oh, they will. Because they are sick. Yep. Blink forward. Oh, this was so
God.
painful. This
Yeah.
was so many Stalkers.
The anti-armor missile, when it connects to this many units, you want to pull back and then wait for that to expire.
And it's actually very good as well for BCs when those units are covered by anti-armor missile, because BCs obviously attack very quick and rapidly, so the lower the armor, the better it is for the BC. Well, guys,
That's how I have to look at the TV so far. I'm like,
that was a beautiful highlight video of Lillecannon styling on Protoss. I think Poseidon just expected certain things to happen, and they didn't happen in the game.
and on this map too, it's not like he has many avenues to really be aggressive with the stalkers.
No, I think obviously there were many ways to play that better. Transition quicker, maybe have slightly more map vision, but it is what it is. We're going to move on, and we're going to talk about a ZVZ. It's been a long day. A ZVZ with you guys. Spacey Macy versus King. Snoot said King has been around forever. He's basically just one of the better Zergs in the Norwegian scene. I really don't know that much about him, Jan.
I mean, we're about to find out how good he is. Brazil won 4-0 against Hungary.
Oh, I guess then this everybody won. I was like, who won? Well, everybody plays these days, Kevin. So, Turkey Dano winning his match. My man Daniel. Couple cannons were sprinkled in there.
You saw any?
No, but I know Turkey Dano. Those guys are sick. These days they cannon rush Terran players. Can you believe it?
Yeah. Because I've seen these guys streaming and like
they
play
have
in general.
They have like a little Twilight Council of nothing but the best cannon rushes in the world.
This is like the Vape Nation, but Protoss and gaming version.
No, they're actually very sick individuals. So we don't know the MMR of King. I actually would really love to see what the graphic would have said there, because I still have no idea. I do know Spacey Macy. He goes up and down. He's a Zerg that plays quite a bit. He's been to a couple of WCS events this year as well. Just a very good all-around happy dude. And look at that, though. Look at that production tab. But I guess we introduce players first.
Go ahead then.
All right, left bottom side. Representing Denmark, it is Spacey Macy.
His opponent with the early spawning pull in the blue, it is King. Representing Norway. And he's gonna go for a rush.
Yep. We already saw one 12 pull on this map earlier when MSRM tried to pull that one off against Red, but he took a gas and he also tried to do something sneaky with banking up a lot of Zerglings and catch Red off guard. I think this is going to be a little more straightforward, unless King goes very crazy and also pulls drones, but he wouldn't do such a thing, would he, Todd?
I mean, maybe.
Well,
there you go.
He wouldn't do such a thing. Would he, Todd? King is like, Roddy, I'm going to make you look really stupid today. Here we go. The drones are being fooled. I feel like Nation Wars always has a lot of hilarious games. It's like, the one thing I don't expect him to do here, bam, does it.
Spacey Maisie sees it. And I'm guessing trying to get some sort of spine in the main base.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to stop mining gas against this?
Yes, but I think he has full saturation at this point anyway, so I don't think he cares too much, right? Like, I don't think he cares about...
Cancels the expo. Yeah. There's going to be a Queen, Zerglings, and some spine crawlers of his own.
Oh, this is going to be awkward. It's important to take a good fight. He tries to, I want to say tries to get this around, but no, but he does lose his spine crawler. Gets 2 drones there for free. No, nothing is for free in this world. Thought he was going to get it. He's going to stack his own drones. Oh, this looks so painful. I feel like King is doing this pretty well. Don't forget about the spine crawlers from King. But Spacey Macy is most likely going to completely give up on the main base. And he hasn't expanded the left top side. I don't know what's happening, Todd. The spines are going to finish up.
Yeah, and Spacey Macy is in a world of trouble. He needs to evacuate. He's going to do just that. But Macy's going to lose his entire main base. And yeah. I mean, there's so many links there.
And I mean,
everything's going to go down super fast.
And that other base is nowhere near done, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, if he had a spawning pool on the left top side, I'd be like, yeah, you know, I can see this going somewhere.
It's a disaster.
Right now, I truly think it is a disaster. Yeah, he has way more drones, or at least he has 2 more drones. But those drones are not going to be mining. He's going to have to rebuild the pool. I do think that King should prioritize killing the pool. The Lynx followed the drones, by the way, so now he knows about the hidden base. He's just going to leave the spine crawlers behind. And now he goes for the left top side. It's ZVZ. Galore over here, but 7 army supply against 1?
ZVZ at its finest.
He's got 700% the army of his opponent, though. 7 times as big.
Nice math and stream.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now it's only 4.5 times as big. 4 times as big. Still very big. Space Base is in trouble, guys. He's in a lot of trouble.
Oh my god, I don't know how he's supposed to defend. He's trying to squeeze out some Zerglings, so he's going to buy some time, run around, but... He didn't even have the minerals for a Queen.
Oh, I mean, he needs the best fight ever here, but I feel like he's still outnumbered. So how are you going to get the best fight ever? When you're working with the same units and you're still outnumbered, King is most likely going to put Norway back into the lead here with a good old 12 pull and a spine crawler rush. He's going to get the surround here on the drones of Spacey Macy. GG, Norway takes the perhaps rather surprising 2-1 lead over Denmark here, Johan.
Yeah. And they are going to have 2 players still in pre-revive, which are going to be Snoot and King. And on the other side, it's going to be for Lille Cannon to try and make something happen.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. I mean, obviously 2-1 is nowhere near over yet. So Lille Cannon is going to come out first, and he is going to play a TVZ guaranteed. And then, of course, a player could still be revived on the side of Denmark as well. But I think this was a surprising loss for Team Denmark. I really don't think they expected to lose this one, the ZVZ here. That spine crawler rush, those blight tactics, they're still very powerful in 2019.
Starbuck.
Starbuck too.
No, he would have clumped up the drones and then you wouldn't be able to see that
it's one drone. The greatest move ever.
Which doesn't even make sense. Like, why would somebody send 6 things in a drone? You know, like it's there every time, but yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for us for now. We're going to head over to a 6-minute commercial, and after that, we'll be back with Game 4 between Norway and Denmark.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is still Nation Wars 2019, and this is our last best of 7 of the day. And for now, Norway, the double champions from Nation Wars 1 and 2, are leading 2-1 against Denmark.
Yeah, I would say that's a tiny bit surprising. I didn't necessarily expect it.
Yeah.
Obviously, King there in the final game with his Blight tactics, getting the W.
Always amazing.
Yep. But now we're going to see Lillecannon once again. He's, of course, the player from Team Denmark that won, and that's why he's the only option. And he will go up against either of the two Zergs that just won. So it could be King, could be Snoot, but afterwards... I mean, we're going to see both games. Those are going to be then at least one of the next two games, and maybe both.
So the thing is, I do believe that Norway goes with Snoot here, because I expect a longer game, right? Like, because it's Lillecannon, he will be playing mech. He will be playing probably the Battlecruiser opening into some kind of mech after that, probably a campy style.
Yeah.
And who else better than Snoot can handle that kind of stuff? Because he was active during the time where Terran would be super maxing out on like 3-4 bases and waited out with turrets with Raven. And I expect something out of Lillecannon like this.
Yeah, very possible. And obviously, considering that it's Snoot, you could say like, Snoot is just going to be passive. But Snoot can also absolutely throw a curveball and maybe go for some Nidus play or something. So we'll see. It's going to be King first. And, well, that's going to be a fun one for us because I think Lillecannon is the favorite here. And I said it multiple times already in this broadcast. I was like, I don't know that much about King. And I still don't, guys. Okay?
Yeah.
I saw a 12-pool Spinecrawler rush. Like, that doesn't really tell me much about how good this young man clearly is. But yeah, he handled it well. Obviously didn't make any crazy mistakes in the execution of his build, but I'm still kind of in the dark about King.
Yeah, it shows that he's able to select a build and stick to it and execute it properly. So now it has to go with, does he know what to expect of Lillecannon? Did he have the time to talk with his teammates on how he would react to a probable mech opening and then mech transition out of Lillecannon? We will see all those things taking place right here and out on Ephemeron as we introduce the first player. In the top left, representing Norway, he is King. Blue Zerg.
And in the right bottom side, we're looking at the main base of our Danish Terran. It is Lillecannon.
That was flawless pronunciation, right?
I try.
You're good. Can you speak a little bit Danish on top of Lillecannon?
No, actually, I really cannot. I know a little bit of Swedish, but my Danish is at 0. I mean, a lot of people do think that Dutch and Danish are the same language, so if that would be the case...
I didn't think that, but...
No, I know. Obviously, you wouldn't, but when you talk to people from the other side of the world, they're like, oh, you speak Danish? I'm like, no. But you said you were Dutch. I was like, yeah. They're like, you speak German. I'm like, no, we've got our own language.
And then you go into baby rage.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? So anyways, for now, nothing too crazy out of the ordinary by both players. We do have a pull first, but that's something that's quite common in the ZVT matchup. You can still throw that out without even going for something that all-in-ish after that.
But what you can also do is send a couple links to the other side of the map. The Reaper is like halfway, and then the Reaper turns around, and the Reaper doesn't know what's happening on the other side of the map, and then suddenly, bam, by the time you're done dealing with those Zerglings, it's roaches knocking on your front door. That's always the first thing that I think of, but maybe I'm looking too much into this.
No, but you're right. Like, that would be an interesting take on how to beat a guy that's going to be campy and defensive, I feel, on the side of Lillecannon. So maybe... I know this is not an answer that everybody likes, but don't let him get to that point. You know, don't let him get to that super late game oriented mech play, slow play, probably with nukes and stuff like that. You can kill him before that, and a roach push and a roach follow up towards Lillecannon could be interesting if you want to go down that road. That SCV is going to confirm once again that there is no extra buildings here. He does know that metabolic boost has been researched, well, is being researched right now. And the factory going to come up with a second refinery, so opening up a lot of new paths towards technology.
And other than that, literally nothing has happened yet. Yeah. I think maybe we'll see slightly more aggression coming out of Lillecannon. I think last game was just kind of weird and odd, because we can't forget that Poseidon did open up with that proxy gate, and I think Lillecannon was always quite worried about it. And basically, he's like, you know what, I think as long as I deal some damage and I just never move out, I'm going to be okay here. But I think against Zerg, I think he knows that he needs to do slightly more. That's a very, very quick lair, and it screams Nidus to me. And Niduses also scream.
Oh yeah, they do.
Fun facts with Roddy.
Fun facts with Roddy, live from Nation Wars 2019. It was actually a staple of the French cast would be yelling Canal de Nidus, which is Nidus network basically, as the Nidus would pop out. So I do see where you're coming from here. Niduses do scream.
So you guys screamed that?
Yes.
Oh
that was
God.
one of the staple of Ponfetude, the two first casters that built the company, and they would yell "Canal de Nidus" as the Nidus would pop.
How's Toot doing? I haven't seen Toot yet.
Toot is doing pretty well for himself. I haven't seen him in like a couple of weeks, but yeah, he's still around, still looking beautiful.
Yeah.
Going to bars and stuff like that. You know, that's his deal. Okay, that Larry's gonna finish up, and with 3 extractors, I do believe that he would like to transition into Spire, like early Spire.
That's possible as well.
I don't see it being a Nidus right now. Yeah, it's gonna be the Spire.
The 2-base Spire opening.
That's also interesting if you play against Mech, because if the guy doesn't really invest into, you know, Viking stuff like that, or even like a high number of Marines, which is the case in this case with the little cannon producing those Marines 2x2 with the reactor, but sometimes you can catch him off guard, and getting back the control over your defense on 2 or even 3 bases with Mech can be super slow and painful against Mutalists.
I mean, obviously these Marines won't have Stim anytime soon. Scan goes down in the main base. Unfortunately for Lillecannon, he does not see what he's looking for. So he's like, you know what? I'll just scan the natural too, okay? I need to know what I'm up against. And now he does see the Spire. There's our Baneling Nest as well. This is the second 2-base Spire game we've seen today, right?
Yeah. Was it in...
was it Bly?
Yeah, Bly went for it. But that's also really a Bly-esque thing to do, right? I mean, he loves this Mutalisk. So let's see. We've got an eBay and an Armory at the same time as he's taking more gases. So that does call for a mech play, but the eBay is obviously here to grab some more turrets for defense.
That's quite a few Zerglings being produced over here as well. 14 with the Baneling Nest. Maybe he was worried about a weird move out. Obviously, he's going to be able to get Baneling speed as well. That's going to be quite useful. But Lillecannon is just going to throw up some turrets everywhere. He's going to see now that there is a hatchery close to finishing up. I mean, I guess this game will just go on for quite some time. But it feels awkward to me from King's point of view. But we'll see where he goes with it.
Yeah, well, the Zerglings with the Baneling Nest being on the map, I felt could be like some kind of, you know, double-pronged attack. Maybe Mulist to the main, then you try to bust up the wall and just run by with Zerglings, which could be quite interesting economically speaking. I mean, the Mulist will be expensive, but busting a depot is not that expensive with Baneling. So I'd like the combination of the two, but for now he's not moving that much. The Mulist, they will finally try and cross the map. Ephemeron, not the smallest of maps, so it's gonna take a little bit of time.
I had a straw poll on my stream yesterday, and I was like, is this a small or a big map? Because it is obviously not a small map, but I feel in the current map pool, this to me actually feels like one of the smaller maps. It's this one and Triton. From natural to natural, that is, right? Obviously, I think the corners are pretty far away, and you can take expanse in many different routes, but if I compare this to Acropolis, if I go... Oh!
That was not a free tank! There were 4 mines, and he got baited! I got baited! And King got super hard J-baited right there.
Wow.
Woo!
Sweet.
That was nice.
Yeah, it's so much more fun when you don't know the mines are there.
See? Yeah. So right there, Crow, by not showing the Widow Mines, was actually a brilliant observer, right? Because we were so surprised by this.
This is the excitement that we need. That's why we should remove the production tab.
Okay, Control W.
Yeah.
Control W, nothing. I don't want to know anything. No, don't do Control W. No. You're gonna freak out.
It's like it's one of those things where it's like it's really cool, but at the same time it's like no. After 8 years of seeing everything, I need to see everything all the time. Okay.
Or else I'm not enjoying the game because I don't understand anything.
Whoa.
So that's a lot of Banelings, and he's gonna time it out with Baneling speed.
This, to me, feels like a Dimaga build from 2011.
Yeah.
Or 2012, actually. I am Kiev, he did this all the time. Like, he would open up with a couple of mutas, and then he would Baneling bust. That's
Oh, that was not the right call.
He's like, I clumped them up for you. Nice as well.
See?
Blue Flame Helling is close to finishing up. Well, guys, this is it. There's no other way to put it.
Only one tank?
This many Banelings is a massive commitment. The floodgates are open, so he doesn't need to blow up any depots.
Okay, that's pretty good. So that means that more Banelings will be remaining for the rest of the attack.
No.
The Hellions are actually going to be dying onto Ram, trying to transform into some Hellbats, but that was a little bit too late, and that's already 25 SCVs going down. So that means, economically speaking, King, even though he has 41 drones, is doing pretty well for himself.
Yeah, but he just fired up 28 Morlings, and I
don't like it.
No, I would have loved to see
14 drones.
Yeah, 14 drones, and then you can make a couple of links again. But I think at first he's like, can I just win the game here? Suddenly he's like, no, I'm not. But I did do a lot of damage, so I should transition. The Widow Mines, though. Don't forget about the mines.
Okay, he's actually going to escape out of here. I'm not sure I agree with this decision. I felt like he was pretty much committed to at least taking out the Thor. Could have been a nice pickup, but...
that would have been difficult though, right? With the Hellbat and the Wither Mines
there was only one Hellbat, I feel. Maybe two?
2 mines and a Hellbat.
Yeah, well, the Wither Mines were not in the range of the Thor. But I'm going into like super detail, which is not
getting a Thor is a big deal, so
it
you're
would
not
have been
wrong.
nice.
Yep. But I mean, yeah, he's actually economically in a pretty damn sweet spot now.
And
Lilican is probably wondering, what am I playing against? Like,
so lost.
what is this 2-base Spire opening into donating your Mutas into my Widow Mines? It's bailing busting me. Who would ever do such a thing? He's got Blue Flame now, by the way.
Yes, he's got Blue Flame, and he doesn't have the Vision King, that is. And that's gonna hurt. Only 5 drones in the end, maybe a little bit more, but so many Zerglings here. He needs to micro those. Yes, okay. 5 drones in the end, but it's just like, I feel in this game, you're not allowed to take that kind of damage. Even though it was only 5 drones, you're in a perfect position. You've got a lot of Zerglings that need pointers everywhere. Your creep is pretty decent. You've got Overlords. Those Hellions, they need to be surrounded before they reach a mineral line.
No, for sure. That was a bit unnecessary. But in the end, he didn't lose that much. It looked maybe a little more painful and messy than it was. But now I think we're going to have a very fun game. Because I'm still in the dark about King, okay? Maybe you guys have figured him out, but I have absolutely not figured out King yet. So I still don't know how good he actually is. What I do know is that Lilicannon is obviously not going to give up, and is also, I think, quite comfortable in playing a game from behind. So now I want to see, King, what do you do when you get yourself in a very advantageous position?
Yeah.
Because that is something that he's definitely done so far. And if he's just going to swarm host Nidus from here on out with some good execution, then I'm going to become a believer, Funka.
Yeah, what about some Swarmhost? Yeah, Nidus with Swarmhost, I would love it. Infestation Pit about to finish. We've got a Thor drop here. Only one Mutalisk that's going to get taken out quite fast, and then we should see a Thor pickup. That's what happens. Here, a second Thor drop on the right side, getting some drones this time. That's pretty cool. And that's what Lil Canyon needs to do to just apply some tempo up to this game. Like, he needs to be a little bit more in control, because if he sits on 3 bases, even though he's going for something quite late game oriented with 2 armories, well, then you've got a Zerg that maybe figures this out, goes into 85, 90 drones, and goes Broodlord Infestor. Just why not?
Well, there we do have our Swarmhost, but I do feel Swarmhost need Nidus, right?
Yeah,
I mean, maybe
on
they
this
don't
map,
need it,
especially.
Because it's a big map?
Such a big map. I do believe it is a big map. I feel in TVZ
most
matchups,
people...
like, whoa.
No, okay, but if you're Terran, right, would you rather play this or Disco Bloodbath?
Disco Bloodbath.
What?
Yeah, honestly.
You rather play Disco?
Yeah. I like the positioning better on this map.
No, but so you rather play this map better? Rather this map?
No. Disco Bloodbath.
You're nuts.
Yeah, I didn't
you
play
play
the
Bio
game.
Or you play?
I try to play Bio every single map, which is not a good idea. I don't like.
I don't know how you would ever win with Bio on Disco.
Against crappy players, I like the ones I'm playing. Don't worry, you can win with anything. There's guys that go into Grandmasters League just playing full Marines and Medevats, you know?
Oh, of course. I mean, obviously if the micro is there, all right. Well, King is actually just going to try to close it out. He's got a massive army. Yeah, but I mean, I don't... Okay, the Hellions are going to see it. That's massive. There are a couple of Widow Mines that have already fired. But as long as Lilicannon just survives the first wave of Locusts, he still has a very good chance. He's going to lose that command center. I mean...
Yeah, that's good.
Cancel. Well done.
Yeah, he cancelled it, and he's going to get some more depots here without dropping... without... giving his army away, he just pulled back. I think it was a decent first wave. I mean,
yeah,
cancel the CC, get the drop. He could have done better if he targeted down a little bit better, because he went for like a million
he's playing good, to be honest.
4 mines. Yeah, no, he's playing really well. And he's playing without fear. Yeah. That's what I wanted to say earlier when you said, I don't know who this guy is. What I feel is, maybe not the most talented of players of all time in terms of macro and stuff like that, but he's got the builds, and he takes advantages.
This was a bit painful because he just lost 30 supply of roaches before the Locust showed up. He was actually almost maxed out. So I really feel there was a lot of potential there. But now the Locusts show up. Imagine if that would have happened at the same time. A couple Locusts on the high ground would be really sick. So you can take out those 2 tanks, King.
Okay, you just attack them. Yep. Those Locusts are just really... Oh, okay, he's going to get 1 tank, the second one. That wasn't really great in the end, but still, like, what's really painful is losing those Swarmers to the Thors. And if he had a Nidus, that would not happen.
Lilicannon was down 80 supply at one point, and he's actually hanging in there like an absolute trooper. Well done by Lilicannon. Now he's going to be able to get a lot of these Swarmers
as well. He's getting all of them.
Yeah, that's why you want to get a Nidus network in general. Now it goes back to Mutas, and I'm really not sure about that one.
No.
Damn it, I thought King had it until we decided to sacrifice almost 20 roaches before that second wave of Locusts was ready. The first wave, I'm totally with you, it wasn't all that bad. But the second wave, he lost way too much before he
I
fired
agree.
that second wave off.
Definitely, definitely.
What is he going to do with the Midas? I guess just hunt down Medivacs?
Yeah, but I mean, there's already two Thors with like 2-1 attack that you, the 2-1 upgrades that
Yeah.
you do want to take out. So that's not gonna be easy to clear. That's some Mutalisks that are being given away for free.
Yep.
And it's just like
Okay.
he's losing control of the game right now.
Yeah, King, you were so close, my friend. I mean, he did cancel the fort, so that's something, right? The fort is being rebuilt.
he did. It's being rebuilt. And so this is a really, really slow game from Lil Cannon.
Yeah.
But
He's
keep
got no
in mind,
choice.
double armory, 3-2 upgrades. I mean, King is nowhere near a composition that can face off against a lot of Thors with 3-2, for instance.
At
So-
one point, I really felt the mech army was so small and the numbers were so low. I was like, I think King's got it. I think he's done it. But yeah,
with better
these-
execution, I'm with you. It
Yep.
could have been a done game, but also, like you said, it's Lil Cannon defended like a trooper, and the double Thor micro on the Medivac
Very
got
good.
18 Swarmhost. This is massive, and obviously that's something that the game doesn't do for you. Pick up those Thors and trying to hunt them down and doing it perfectly, even with the mind he's playing well. And I feel that was a shift click. This is terrible for King. He invested so much minerals and gas into those Mutalisks.
that
and
could
he
have been
lost,
so
like,
much worse, though.
Yes.
I thought he was going to lose all those mutas on the right side of that pack. The Roach is going to show up one more time. They will get a tank, but it's not a free tank at all. No!
it's-
What are they doing? They're just
not
running
sure.
straight into their death.
Do you want to do this? Like maybe get Burrow, even though there's turrets everywhere. At least you can
10
like,
more Swarmos.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
10 more Swarmers, but upgrades that are getting pretty decent, like +2 and +3 working
Yeah.
on it right now. Locust with +3, not a easy feat by any means.
No, but what I would have loved to see from King a long time ago is to be way higher on the drone count. I think if you want to play a reckless style, you need to be on 80 drones. Like 82 is kind of a magic number for a lot of Zergs.
Oh.
But when you're working with 60 drones, you think, you think you're rich, but you're not actually rich. He does get a Medivac and a Thor there, that's nice, but he needs another base for sure. Take the 12 o'clock base, it's free, it's exposed.
And do those extra 20
Yep.
drones you were mentioning.
It
That
makes
would,
all the difference.
Of course.
Oh, look at the units lost again. Lilican is the most effective StarCraft 2 player in history, or efficient, I should say, in history, okay? Earlier today, he killed 41k of resources against the Protoss while only losing 19 himself. And now again, it's like 20k compared to like 10k.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy.
Nice.
Lil Cannon is just slowly, just pushing across the map, getting some more bases. Now he's got those amazing upgrades that he was looking for, but he's taking it slow, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do in such a scrappy game like this. When you figure out that your opponent is not on 90 drones, and you mentioned it before, like he's scanning constantly. Do you have extra bases? Should I be worried? Is this a base with like 80 drones and 2 extractors and everything? No. So you can take it slow, no problem whatsoever.
Do you like the Hydra then, right now?
I don't really understand what it is for.
Maybe like if he's actually able to play a high level of Hydra Viper,
Yeah.
then I'm a fan. But that is an execution or a build rather that's very, very difficult to execute. I don't know if that's really what I would have liked
And
to
once
do.
again, like those Hellions, they will kill some drones for sure. We'll see exactly how many. But
11.
You think 11? Yeah. That's 9. That's 11. Are you a genius? Are you a genius? Okay, that counts. You were a genius on
that base. I mean, I didn't expect him
you
to get a
didn't
second base.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, this made 23 drones.
Oh my god.
Michael Jordan. Now they're making them. I mean, he dropped.
Oh, no.
Oh, the
this
move
is
command of
painful.
doom. No,
King
no, my
losing.
friend. Oh my goodness. Oh, that
Okay.
was so many
That went
swarms.
for bad to worse, man. Like 24 drones into you lose like a billion Swarmers, and
Units
that
lost resource
wave of
step.
Locusts
What is
didn't
it?
do anything. 25k against 13.
What an efficiency today. Are we sure Little Cannon ain't German? Can we take a look at that passport of his?
Yeah.
No,
Can
he's
we-
very Danish, I'm
Can
sure.
we take
but-
a look?
So now we're going to get the greatest spy with a couple of seven unupgraded Hydras in the way as well. More Swarmos are going to go down here. This base is going to go down. Wow, Little Cannon, you were down 80 supply and you were looking at the face of defeat.
Oh yeah,
But that's turned in the round.
That's a victory, all right, on the side of Little Cannon. I don't see anything going for King at the moment. I mean, that Greater Spire is obviously a pretty nice tool, but look at look at the supply. Obviously, Todd is in the building, so you do have to look at the supply at all times, and it tells a story. 120 against 164 for Lil Cannon, and just a general pretty garbage composition.
Yeah.
Like, he's got like remainder of Mutalisk,
a little bit of everything.
Corruptors, 7 Hydras with +3 attack, but no armor, no Vipers, like 1 Swarmist, and it's not even a Misclick. He used to have 37, guys.
What I also love is that he made the Hydras, but he never got the Hydra upgrades, did he? I don't think we have Hydra range or speed.
No, nothing.
So it's just like 8 very casual Hydras.
Yeah.
No.
So what we can say about that game, I feel, is that obviously King had an opportunity to finish the game with his first wave of Locust, and then whether it's nerves or the fact that now he knows that Lil Cannon comes into a side of the game that he obviously plays better than him, which is super late game with mech. I don't know what it was, but obviously after that first sequence and those stores killing all the Swarmos, he went from bad to worse.
I thought that the first wave of Locust, I was totally with you. I was like, okay, that was not the dream, but that was quite right. He's still maxed out. Lil Cannon lost a couple of units. He lost his fort base. And it's pretty decent. I mean, with wave 2 here, and legitimately, guys, it was like 198 supply against 120 when all of that started. But then he lost a solid 40-50 supply of roaches, and then Lil Cannon started to pull off some really good moves with the Thors and stuff like that. And I think that was truly the beginning of the end.
So, you know what, Kev? I love everything you're saying, right? Like, everything is perfect here. But I think I made a mistake by saying this game was a victory, because I feel like we are going to see maybe 15 more minutes of gameplay here. Because 15, yeah. I would say 15. Because he didn't move on the map. He just went for some harassment, which is like, in a way, like breaking a little bit in this game, like not going full aggression. And he transitioned into air. We see a Ghost Academy, we see extra starports and stuff like that. I don't see him crossing the map. If he didn't do it like a minute and a half ago, why would he do it now?
I think he's going to cross soon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's maxed
Maybe
out.
I'm wrong.
Maybe another Thor. I mean, he's checking every base and he sees there are there are Broodlords that are exposed.
He might cross now.
He doesn't need to cross. 50 minutes also known as 15 seconds.
15 seconds. That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
You know, we've all been there. Sometimes you promise 15 minutes and it's actually 15 seconds. This is something that could happen to the best of us. And in this case, it happened to you. But don't worry, I don't think any less of you.
No, I know. No, I was mistaken between minutes and seconds. You know, it's like, once again, English, not my first language, even though it's minute and seconde in French. So
it's close
I'm just lying, you know. I'm pretty much lying here. So that's the equalizer.
Yep, 2 apiece.
I'm liking it.
It's close, like we predicted, guys. We didn't lie to you. We were keeping it real in the pre-game. This was not fake hype, no hyperbole. This truly was a hard match to call. And now that means that we're going to get another TVZ. And this time it's Lil Cannon versus Snoot. And even though Lil Cannon has played very, very efficient StarCraft, and in both games you could say it was awkward, but he really kept his cool, because I think he's very good in awkward and weird scenarios. But against Snoot, I mean, Snoot is going to do a lot of things a lot better. And Snoot, even if he's a tiny bit out of practice, Snoot still has a very big brain when it comes to StarCraft. And if you give Snoot a little bit of freedom, he'll take your whole hand. I mean, he is going to be 80 plus drones. He is going to cover the map in creep.
See, if the game goes to that same kind of stage, right, in a game, I feel like Snoot is going to do so much better in getting that late game going and those extra drones that he needed. So that's the first attack after a Mutalisk, and I liked it. It dealt a lot of damage, and it killed every single SCV on the natural, which is quite amazing to think about. And that's after that, yeah, he kind of messed up when he transitioned into Swarmhost, and it's a shame, because you said it. King won a game in like 3 minutes earlier in ZVZ, and he was putting a lot of pressure onto Lil Cannon after 8 minutes of play. So getting advantages is not a problem, and it probably is that fight that cost him that massive lead that he had.
Yep. Because now, like, it looked like he was maxed out again, but he actually had 40 supply of roaches in production pretty much, because he lost so many roaches before. And this time the Locusts, they were all close to killing tanks, but they just didn't really get it. And obviously at this point it's a Lil Cannon highlight reel, because we're just going to see him kill Swarmhost and Locust and drones, mutas, basically everything for forever. Oh, this was cool. 2 great Widowmine connections this game. I must say that last second split. Yeah, okay, well done. Kudos to you.
That was super cute.
I would have lost all of them, my friend, don't worry.
So that's another run by, so many more drones getting killed. And yeah, definitely will be a different beast with Snoot in play. And also, you were mentioning being really effective with the units. That's something Snoot has been really well known for. Obviously, with his mastery over Schwarmost, but Brewlord Infestor styles as well. So, I mean, meta-wise, I think it's a pretty decent one for Snoot, and also the experience out of the guy. You mentioned it earlier. I think you were wondering if he was the player with the most games played in Nation Wars, and you were correct.
I think it was Johan, but I'll take the credits.
Oh yeah. But you as a whole,
yeah.
as a, you know, but yeah, 40-20.
Yep.
So that makes him maybe 41-20 if my we updated the
40-20 and +1 in the winning column. I take
41. Yeah.
It could be 41, guys, but let me talk to the producer.
Math on stream.
40 plus, 41 actually. You just got the confirmation,
Dude,
mate.
thank you, production, for being here for us, especially me, who's struggling with basic math right now. But amazing experience out of Snoot. My point originally, before I made a fool of myself, was kind of interesting because experience is going to play a big role there, and I feel Snoot as the upper end.
I mean, I still think that just like
Brought it right back.
Yep. No, absolutely. What's that lovely map? It's Thunderbird. Okay. So for a while, I was like, hey, this is a good map for Mac. But then my Terran friends are like, no, Roddy, you stupid Protoss. I'm like, why, Terran friends? Why? Just like, because basically, when you play Mac, it is very important that you go for drive-bys, that you go for run-bys with those Hellions, right? You get a couple drones. But since the first 3 bases are so close to each other and basically all walled off, it's actually kind of difficult for a Mac opening to do damage. And once again, guys, Snoot is not like some of those other Zergs. If you give him freedom, Snoot is going to have an 80+ drone economy, I'll guarantee you that.
Oh yeah, definitely. But we'll start and introduce those players for game number 5 between Norway and Denmark. In the bottom right-hand side, as the Red Terran representing Denmark, is Lille Cannon.
Lille Cannon.
Lille Cannon. Thank you.
And on the left top side, we're looking at the main base of the legend himself, one of the most successful non-Korean StarCraft players of all time. It is Snoot.
Snoot. I love it. I love how Norwegian sounds in general.
Yeah, all these Scandinavian languages, they're so lovely. This sounds like they're singing all the time. It's like, I want to be singing. I used to live in Germany. It seems like people are angry all the time. They're like, yeah, it's liquid Snoot. It's like, whoa,
guys. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of viewers in the chat that are being super triggered by you saying that. So
no, I have nothing but love for my Deutsche Freunde. Everybody knows that.
The fact that you said it in German made it all go away in Deutsch. Anyways, barracks coming up here for Lille Cannon, so no CC first shenanigans or anything, even though that's not meta at all. That could be like a, an interesting call on things, but thankfully for him, because we did have an early pull from Snoot before expanding.
I think he's trying to fake out like a 2 Rex or a 3 Rex, you know. He's like, Master V, can't wait to build a bunker.
Build the drones, buddy. He knows also that his opponent is on pull first, considering the completion of the hatchery. Almost halfway down here. First queen being produced as well from Snoot and Lille Cannon, with a Reaper and a CC should be plenty fine to defend against anything that Snoot can throw at him, which is basically 4 slow Zerg at the moment.
I wonder if Snoot is actually going to do the thing that we were talking about in the previous game, but on Thunderbird that's just a little bit unlikely, right? Because if you don't mine out those minerals in the middle of the map, it takes a long time for your ground units to travel. I wasn't talking about those minerals, Crow. What are you talking about?
That's the ones.
Who's going to mine out the minerals behind that gas? Crow's like, well, when I'm sitting on...
I did it once in my life.
Crow's like, well, on most PVCs I have 37 infestors, so it's actually quite useful. I know you, Crow, you dirty Zerg.
The thing is, with burrowed infestor, you can't go, lower than a mineral line, so you do have to mine those.
And it opens up the path for some long distance mining of the rich Vespian gas, That means you can squeeze in another infestor if you truly want.
Okay. But still, third hatchery on the side of Snoot, so nothing too crazy coming out from him. No roaches, as we mentioned, could be the follow-up, but no. Here we see overload speed and the third hatchery, so more of a economical kind of style, and some vision just to go alongside with it to know what your opponent is up to.
I mean, it's kind of a goal 2 opening, right? I think TVZ for the longest time was always like, Terran's got so many openings and it's tough for Zerg to figure out which one it is exactly. I was like, yeah, it would be, but what if we give you a Formula 1 car in the sky? I'm like, well, actually, we'll take that.
We'll take that.
Yeah, so you actually kind of know what you're going up against.
Yeah.
It makes life a lot easier. I do believe, yeah, this is going to be a long one. This time we do get indeed that battle cruiser opening, and it's probably, well, he's actually proxying it. I mean, it's not, I guess,
Well,
against overload speed, you need to do something, right?
Exactly. See, I was actually quite surprised watching a couple of Holy Moly games, and all the buildings were proxied in the most random stuff, and then you've got like a most random places, sorry, as we will have some drone damage.
That's a very good drive. I would go to the main, mate. Yeah.
This is kind of crazy that it happened, especially on this map. Nice Evo block, though.
He's going to get in eventually. I mean, Snoot is actually in a little bit of trouble here, guys. Snoot somehow not ready for the casual 4-Hellion drive-by. And I must say, the worker loss is not that high yet, but now it's starting to rack up 8 kills already and an insane amount of lost grinding time.
Does he get the last blow? No, it's gonna stick to 8. It could have been worse, but it's a really good opening by Little Cannon, and I don't think Snoot just didn't anticipate the bomber run by. You know, it's like I don't care how many Zerglings you have. I'm pretty sure you're being a greedy Zerg. I'm just gonna run by without seeing anything.
But Overlord's gonna fly into the main base, and it sees the starport, it sees the tech lab. Is he opening Raven? Oh, okay.
Okay.
No, Hellion's in a good position, though. Hellion's in a very good position. A little bit of worker micro there as well. Lila Cannon is on fire. He's on fire. He's playing some good StarCraft. Yeah, absolutely.
That was super clean. It's that those kind of situations, and it doesn't happen that often in StarCraft, where it could have been so bad, and it ended up being on sheer micro and mini decision making, like such a good outcome for Little Cannon, where it could have been so bad. So really kudos to him, because he stabilized in this game with some extra drone kills in the middle of it, which is kind of nice. First battle cruiser is going to be on the field, so let's see if he TPs right away. I do believe he does, and it's gonna be okay. That's not a great TP. That's 4 queens.
Wow. He could actually be in trouble. I mean, I know BCs are tanky and all, but that's a lot of damage, yeah, obviously. But let's see what's on the other side.
Okay, Hellion's running by at the same time, and the queens being stuck in the main base. He's gonna lose it. That's a dead BC for like 6 drones.
Why did he fly back towards the north? If you just fly further south, there's 1 queen, but 1 queen can't really chase down that BC.
There wasn't even 1 queen. All the queens were in the main base.
No, there was 1.
Was it?
It's next to the spore, man.
Dude,
that's a queen too.
Pretty tired, you know, and pretty far away screen.
The queen's like, hey, all queens matter, okay? Like, well, Funk, I expected more of you.
They need to bring the TV closer. I'm getting old, man.
No, it's hard to see on Creep, the dark colors, that is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, still, because 1 queen would be in the middle of nowhere, and if them would fight the BC is just like, all right, you know, let's bring it on. Let's actually take this battle. And then the BC only needs like 80 HP to start that fight. But bringing it back to the main means there were 4 queens chasing it.
Yep.
You don't see that very often. Little Cannon, especially after he played so damn well so far, the first BC is a very, very important one. Yeah,
it's an expensive one too, considering you've built a pretty high-tech level building to get it, and then that BC in itself, which is 400, 300 gas. So quite a bit indeed. Gonna try and get some more extra drones on the natural this time with the second BC. This time this one should be making it alive, and go back for repairs back at Little Cannon side of the map. We've got some Hellions going and a lot of upgrades on the side of Snoot, and I'm liking it. +1 attack range, the Carapace upgrade as well, and Neural Parasite.
That's early, isn't it?
It is. I'm not saying it's too late.
I mean, not crazy.
It is also quite logical that you will get it.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's like, I could pay for 1/1, I can pay for my Hydroden, so I can go for it. Like, he's just rolling away with so much gas, actually. Like, only queens have been built since the beginning, and a couple of roaches. So, you know, 150 minerals for defense.
Why not? As Little Cannon is still trying to get a little bit of work done. Obviously, it's also important to stay active with your BC, not necessarily to deal damage, but you want to make sure that you're still aware what the Zerg is doing, because after you lose your first one, you always feel a little more vulnerable at home as a Terran player.
Yeah. And it's also a pretty efficient APM trade, I feel. Like, you go back, you kill a little bit, and then Zerkler is actually going to go YOLO with all the queens moving around, trying to pull away the drone, stuff like that. So you're actually trading a little bit of your APM for a lot of attention and a lot of APM on your opponent's side. So always a pretty decent situation for the Terran to be in.
Oh, you know what Snoot's probably going to do as well? He's going to get a lot of Ravagers. Snoot is the kind of guy that likes to kill capital ships with corrosive bow.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, unless you're the carrier guy.
Yeah.
That was me once. I was very sad. I was like, I looked at this army, I was like, that's such a weak army, I can't wait to kill it. And then I got fungal, then I got corrosive bowed by Snoot. And I have to admit, it felt very sad. It was like, well, I actually feel kind of humiliated over here.
And he was enjoying himself quite a bit
absolutely.
as he was doing that. Don't worry about that. Okay, Spire in tier 3 on the side of Zerg, so quite logical for now.
I love how everything has been scouted except that little
place.
corner. Yeah, that's amazing.
And there's even an SCV that brings attention to it. It's like, oh, I'm patrolling over here.
All right, Burrowed Infestors looking for an opportunity to take over one of those BCs, but we don't have too many anymore. Now, this is obviously a very important moment in the game for our Danish Terran. He wants to get that 4-base economy going. Yeah, one on the right side. As Raven is actually very useful too. Look at all these Ravagers.
Yeah, it just started right then, and I think he's gonna be building them a little bit more and massing them probably. But the question is, can he handle that attack? I think it's gonna be infested Terrans and a couple of neural. After that, nice turret placement. Let's see those infested Terrans. They will be thrown down, but the infestors are actually moving away from the fight, so he's not going to commit that much.
That didn't feel like a good fight from Snoot.
That was a little bit painful for Snoot, for sure.
And Little Cannon still counterattacking on the other side of the map, getting 8 drones once again. He's going to get a few more here as the drones are chasing down those Hellions. 11 in total. 1K, you want to play the guessing game?
Tell me.
How many drones, and don't show us yet, Observer, how many drones do you think that Little Cannon has killed so far in this game?
That's a tough one, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough
How many times were there? I would say...
I want to play 2 by the way.
I'll say 23.
No, it's definitely more than that.
More than that?
Yeah, 100% more.
How many?
I mean, I could the price is right you and do 24, but it's not 24. I'm going to say 36.
34, what a god.
I'm pretty good at the guessing game.
I probably missed 11 drones being killed at some point, because that's pretty much the mistake that I made here. I feel like the first run by did 6, then BC's probably killed 6 as well, and then 11, so that was my call. But so that's why I said 23. But I missed one.
Great Aspires on the way as well, but I must say these tanks are getting awfully close already.
This is great positioning from Little Cannon. I'm loving
Raven
this.
is so nice as well. Those Ravagers, you got to be very careful. The Vipers are not totally ready yet.
He needs anti-armor, I feel, against the Ravagers. That would help tremendously. And maybe auto turrets to prevent those infestors from getting too many infested Terrans and probably Neurals going.
Just seeing the infestors is fantastic already, right?
Ooh, he's gonna get grabbed. Okay, one BC and one Raven. What does he use with the Raven? Nothing for now. He's actually gonna fight with it. And nice the addition on the Viper. And nice Blinding Clouds on the south side, but that's not gonna be enough. Snoot is getting demolished right there.
I thought the Blinding Clouds were really good,
me too.
but
no DPS in this army.
There was just no additional DPS. 23 additional roaches on the way. Now the other turrets go down. The Queens are gonna try to buy some time, but these tanks are getting close. Little Cannon absolutely playing out of his mind so far in this nation war. Getting all the points on the board, crossbows to connect. I do think Snoot will clean this up, though.
Can he clean this up? He will eventually with the 26 extra roaches that he built just before, but it was super expensive. Not that much NTR that's available, so those BCs are actually having a field day. Even that random tank getting some juicy shots.
And there is still a Liberator there as well. That Liberator could become very, very annoying.
He's making spores next to it. It's like, okay, I'll deal with it later. Oh, Ravager as well.
I love how that Ravager is just on burrows, right? Like,
I think he popped out of the egg, maybe.
Where was the egg?
I don't know. I don't see anything past the...
How was there an egg in the middle of nowhere? What?
Well, a roach that went through, wasn't one-shotted, then turned into a Ravager, maybe? Something like that?
Okay. From a cocoon.
You like it?
No, I thought you meant from larva. I was like, what?
No.
I was like, how did larva end up there?
But Ravagers don't pop from lava, so...
Yeah, that's true. It's late. you know, you should have that option as a Zerg player, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And drop down some lava everywhere you want on the map as well. You should be able to do that for sure.
But we still have a game. I'm just happy that we still have a game going on.
You're right.
And it's one hell of a game as well. Another drive-by. Oh, look at the new drones. Snoot's still paying attention. You saw that? He had a lot of drones being transferred from the right top side, but
Dude.
he saved them.
Yeah, what a god. Now, Snoot is playing pretty well, and the fact that he was able to push back that army is pretty sick to me. I felt like when you reach that point, if you can reinforce like at least once with your factories at this particular location, then Zerg is so screwed, right? But he went like super aggressive right off the bat when those roaches popped out. He didn't wait that much, went for it, and was able to push back Little Cannon on this side of the map. And you're right, we do have a game. We have some extra Hydralisks being added onto the army. I don't know if he's got every single upgrade. I feel like he has range and he has speed. He has both. He's got both.
He has learned from King.
Yeah.
But King, that Hydra then has a couple upgrades, my friend. Getting now basically just all the cool upgrades. And don't forget, there's still a Great Aspire. It didn't really come into play yet, but we do have a Great Aspire. And I mean, in case anybody has missed it, and I highly doubt it, okay? Because the Muslim did some analysis. Hero Marine did some analysis. Hero Marine did some more analysis. The Broodlord can actually outrange the Thor, guys. If you micro it a little bit, it says that the range of the Broodlord is 10. And it says that the NTR range of the Thor is 11. But if you micro a little bit, and according to the Terrans, I'm just quoting them, my friends, it is very easy. Anybody can do it. The Broodlord range is actually 12.
Oh my god, 12?
Yes.
So you added 2 extra range, right?
Yeah. So
incredible.
they outranged the Thor. And that micro is very easy, I have heard. I mean, basically any half-drunk Terran is capable of doing it, so...
Why are you being mean to your Terran friends?
Not at all, I love my Terran friends.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I've seen that video a couple times now, okay?
I know you like to watch the same videos a lot, so... I knew
they
that.
like to make the same videos a lot, that's the problem.
Alright, so that's a huge amount of Thors on the field, and I'm liking it, but at the same time, Snoot was on the verge of being defeated, and now we take a look at what's happening on the map, maybe like, what, 3 minutes ago, 2.5 minutes ago, and we've got creep halfway across the map, we've got 7 or 8 bases now, he's got everything he needs, like Broodlords coming in, more Infestors being added on, that's a filthy creep ring.
Yeah.
What is it? How is it possible? How good is he?
He's got a lot of things queued up, I guess he has some energy. The BCs are going to be able to take care of this hatchery though, so that is actually quite nice. I would say you want to take care... Oh, the Queens are here to save the day. Snoot and his Queens, it doesn't matter how deep we are into a game. Look at these BCs, they're like, we ain't leaving, okay? We're not leaving until we got this hatch.
Use some more transfuses, please.
Man, this is like Queens do no damage at all right now because of the high armor.
Yeah. Yeah, because Queens actually deal the right appropriate amount of damage. No problem whatsoever with the armor being taken into consideration here. So roaches will get taken out in the middle of the map, a couple of them, and now we see what I'd like, which is mech into ghost, with like both being used at the same time can lead to great results, and especially against infestors. Now that we have the enhanced shockwaves upgrade.
Yeah, this is actually turning into a super cool game, and I really like it because it has been back and forth and it has been hard to call. And those are my favorite games. Snoot, I'm not sure about this. You tried this before? No!
Ouch.
Not like that. You don't move your units like that, Snoot. I think he was a bit busy. I think he was microing those Broodlords, but I mean, I could be wrong.
You might be right. Also, like the pathing maybe messed him up a little bit, and that's what happens. And then the minerals that we were mentioning earlier.
Oh, that was actually a lot of supply that he just lost. He's getting more Broodlords, he's getting more Corruptors and more Vipers, but can he stop this Terran army? Because that looks like a terrifying Terran force to me.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we've got a lot of SCVs with it to help repair, so that's going to help tremendously. Let's see what those Ravens decide to do. For now, not that much. We're going to have a missile anti-armor that's connecting pretty well here. And he's going to go in. Oh, that's a massive EMP. Oh. Really nicely done here by Lil Cannon, with only one ghost getting a proper EMP shot off here.
Couple of auto turrets being dropped in the front as well, but those won't accomplish much. But that Broodlord count is getting higher and higher, though.
Get that base.
Take a look at that range. Take a look at that range. Are they taking
See, that's
damage?
12.
That
12.
looks like 12 to me.
Yeah, that's 12 for sure.
The Broodlords are trying to get some more shots off. The Taurs want to get closer, but obviously the amount of Broodlings on the ground is super annoying to deal with.
You need some Hellbats, and especially if you've got the Gas Liberator, do the trick pretty well. Massive Zergling amounts that getting demolished right now. Once again, a pretty good Blinding Cloud on that clump of tanks, and the Broodlords, they are pushing in, and all the Thors are being taken out.
The range of those things is just insane, Fonka.
12 for sure.
No, actually, all the Broodlings on the ground make it super, super difficult, right, for the Taurs to get the damage done. I don't even know why Snoot is backing up there. I guess he has no more anti-air, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I've got so
Ravagers
many
and a couple of Queens.
Hey, what if you just make Mass Viking now? Wouldn't Mass Viking be sick? There's 3 Infestors. That's it. Dodge 3 Fungals and win the game.
Yeah. We'll see. We've got a lot of Hydrolis coming up from Snoot, I believe.
That's so many Broods, 12 Broodlords at this point. More Taurs. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Because all jokes aside, the Taurs are clearly struggling very, very much of getting in range of those Broodlords. And,
Definitely.
And if you don't get them there immediately, they'll never get there. Because then there is basically a massive wall of Broodlings in front of those Taurs. And then Taurs are like, can we... And why the hell can the Taur not just stamp on some Broodlings or Broodlords? No, Broodlings. Yeah,
Broodlings.
I mean,
I'm right with you.
Stamping on Broodlords would be very cool to imagine a jump into the air, perhaps special attack.
Dude, Robotech kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like jumping in the air.
Just
What
jumps
up
it through
now?
the middle.
What's up, Taurs?
Now, if I was a game designer, every unit would have abilities like that.
Of course.
Yeah, that would be massive.
Nobody would play your game.
Absolutely, people would play my game. I guarantee you, it would be a good game. Okay, just with a lot of potential.
Okay, okay. I'll wait for the key when you release it.
Yeah, 2040.
I'll be doing an alpha. All right, some more Hellions getting some drones. I don't even know how they got there, but it did. And that's a game that's going to go into ultra late game. 20 minutes here with +3 attack for the air army and a nuke being researched. And Crow, I know this is your first tournament that you're observing, but there's something that you have to show me. Is a nuke flying up from the Ghost Academy as it pops out. If you do it, you're God. It's not that hard.
Follow the trail.
It's not that hard.
Make sure that you zoom out properly.
Yes.
Go up a little bit more towards the north so you carry, basically catch more of it.
Yeah. With smoke and everything.
Yeah,
it's
that's
amazing.
important.
It's a beautiful game. You gotta show it, you know. Okay, 2 extra Ghost Academy, which means academies, which means that Crow will have numerous opportunities to show us nukes flying in the air. And
so no pressure, my friend. You've got a backup.
Yeah. Creep everywhere. Massive upgrades on the side of Snoots.
Yeah, the creep is massive, by the way. I mean,
I can't believe, dude.
He's got the entire map, basically. He's got everything other than where Little Cannon his bases are. Very, very well done. And a lot of queens did go down this game, right? But he just keeps replacing them. How many queens did go down this game, Crow? Our lovely French observer. So he's lost 13 queens, but he still has active queens spreading creep. He still has 6 at this point. Yeah, standard Snoot, I'd say.
Standard Snoots. And they're moving in packs. All those 5 queens are, well, 5 of those 6 queens are actually in the middle of the map spreading that extra creep, which means like right now there is almost no use from Little Cannon to try any type of harassment because it's going to be seen so early that you can't really try it. Maybe some Hellions going straight down maybe could work, but he will have to fight. Oh, that was painful. Double Liberator getting taken out. But he has to fight with a frontal attack here.
You can't even land your base there anymore because there's creep here
this
too.
This is pain, man. This is pain. How often does it happen in your games?
I mean, not that often like this, I would say, because most of the time at this point, if I would ever play like such a late game against Zerg, I have Carrier Observer, right? And then I just take one base at a time. And I also really don't care what they have for creep on the ground because my entire army is basically Carrier, Disruptor, Observer. That's my army. So I was like, well, you can cover the entire map.
Do you have Mothership? No, you don't play Mothership.
No, I don't believe it.
It's a waste of money.
That's a -400, -400 for me, dog.
Okay. Cheeky Changeling here, getting some vision for the Zerg army, which is kind of nice right there because basically sees even more than what he sees already.
I mean, the Liberators are going to help taking care of the Broodlings.
It's going to help tremendously. If he sets them up correctly, which is kind of hard in a fight like this.
That's a nice army, though, by Little Cannon, once again. It's a massive army, but here are these Broodlings coming forward. I love the Hellbats in front as well. I know eventually these Hellbats are going to fall, but at least you could say there is a tiny bit of opportunity for these stores to get closer and in range of those Broodlords.
So it's a 128 army supply out of Terran, and everything is just useful in this army. There is no dead weight here. So that's pretty nice from Little Cannon. I do see this army being able to maybe push the army away for a bit, but Snoot is playing really well with his Broodlords, like just pulling out, going back in a little bit, trying to get some units out of the way and just waiting, gathering more resources.
What would you say about having like 2 or 3 BCs in his army? Just to Yamato, and if you get abducted, you just tactical jump out. Is that nothing? I think like 2, 3 BCs, just to apply some pressure on the brutes.
It's not going to be a total waste, except if you get neurals. But it's not going to be a total waste, but it's not going to be... I don't think it's going to be more interesting than like more Liberators or even an extra Thor. But it's a hard call because most of us, we just try and figure out what's the best idea and what's the best way of actually fighting this army. So I like BCs, but the fact is they don't kill stuff that fast, even though except from Yamato.
Yeah, but
you only get one, and it's super slow to get to. Like if you get pulled, if you get neuraled, I don't know.
Well, a couple of these Liberators are going to get abducted as well. Snoot is losing a few drones here and there. It is a massive army, guys. But the gas banks, I know it seems like both players are very rich, but if one player takes a horrific fight here, that could very well be the end, because these are not easy armies to reproduce. They're very, very expensive, especially when it comes to the gas department. So it's important. The Broodlords feel a little bit awkward there on the left side, maybe even a little bit exposed. Liberators could get on top of it. They're going to get a couple shots off.
Well, a nice fungal at the same time. And borrowing an Infestor right away to avoid that beginning of the fight that could have been troublesome, I guess, with the Liberators and their splash damage. But for now, I really have to give it to Little Cannon. He's playing super well. Like this situation, all those Infestors, they're using a lot, and that's a massive anti-armor missile here.
He is playing super well, but he still needs to kill all these Broodlords. Like, I'm totally with you. I just don't want to get too excited before the Broodlords kill everything, but the Broodlords are starting to feel a little bit more exposed.
Dude, inaugural Liberator. Inaugural 2 Liberators to get them out of the way. Now the infested Terrans are taking care of them. And
he is low on drones, though. If you lose this army, Funk, it's over, okay? He's got 500 gas in the bank.
It's 100% lights out. Can we take a look at the resources? Okay, 32,000 lost on the side of Terran and 37,000 on the side of Snoots.
To be honest, Little Cannon is indeed handling this super well, because it's really not an easy army to move around. Okay, Parasitic Bomb, I do like that.
Finally.
Parasitic Bomb is so good.
Oh yeah.
Oop.
At least Liberators, they take a little bit better than Vikings. It's really painful.
We were talking about Little Cannon being efficient today, but Snoot is like, welcome to my world, son. This is what I've been doing for the last 7 years of my life.
The problem with this army as well.
Maybe? Hooks?
He's gonna get... Those Liberators won't do anything. Yeah, that was a nice defense, once again, from Snoots. Pristine defense, actually. But the thing is, I was about to say, Little Cannon doesn't have an army that can split up really well, so he can't even take care of like those extra bases, for instance, the one in the top right, which should be taken out quite easily in a different kind of game and kind of different kind of tempo. But with this army, you want to stick together.
Vipers a little bit exposed, but they will actually be saved by these Infestors. Once again, that Parasitic Bomb getting some good damage off. That is very good damage.
A couple of Liberators actually taking out some Infestors, which is kind of nice, but once again, the trade was pretty much in favor of Snoot.
Yep, Little Cannon over the last minute and a half has been losing quite a few units, and I feel like Snoot is not losing that much at all.
Both gas banks just depleted totally. Yep. Interestingly enough,
we still have both rich
roaches.
Hey, by the way, don't we still have both rich Vespian gases?
Yeah.
It's like gas is the most precious resource here. Gonna push with spores.
Look at the spores! Oh, this is nasty.
It's nasty. We're all tied up, guys, in this nation war between Norway and Denmark. And obviously it's not over yet after this one, but whoever wins here will take a massive step to qualifying for the main event.
This is like, it's pretty much mech, well, Zerg mech, I feel. Like this position that he gathered right there, it's so good. It's really, really good.
Snoot is still so good.
He
with his
gets the
spellcasters.
Ravens. Oh my god. Take care of them. Destroy them if you can before they can act.
Lillecannon was so... It felt like he was so close to breaking Snoot, but now in the end it really does feel like Snoot is starting to get closer and closer to victory. Look at this army of spellcasters. A couple of queens do go down there, but they dropped a few transfuses before they went.
And moreover,
Close
in this kind of, it's not over, but
No.
in this game, I feel like even though Snoot doesn't have that many drones, he actually has 36 drones. That's great. That's quite crazy.
Yeah, but he's got
he's
no
winning
gas.
the economy game in terms of the number of bases
Oh, that's
he has.
a lot of neurals, but now it's important that you keep those infestors alive as well, Snoot, and I don't think he was.
Wrecked.
Yeah.
He lost so many Broodlords there. He only has 4 remaining, and he doesn't have any gas. And how many roaches does he have? He's got 18.
18, yeah, that's deceiving, right?
This is just like pure trash army right there.
Okay.
Dude, Little Cannon.
Oh my god, he's making
broke as
16
possible.
more. Snoot is going to be maxed out on roaches against all these stores, all these liberators.
and liberators.
Lillecannon is patient, hasn't been awarded. After all, the infestors go forward, but they feel vulnerable. We do see a couple of neurals.
Dude, look at this! The
blinding
Vipers there,
clouds.
the blinding clouds
What
are
is
so
this,
key here,
Snoot?
and the roaches are winning the
Oh
fight
my
against
God,
Torf. But
Snoot,
how
you're a
did he
sick
make it
puppy.
happen? This is
Wow.
crazy, Snoot! With a dead witch army, actually won the fight with 3 perfectly placed Viper spells. What the hell?
The neurals, the blinding clouds, and the roaches getting right in there. Wow, Snoot, just when we thought you were losing it, you pulled it back and you actually won it and put Norway up 3-2 in this nation war. That was an amazing ending of a game because it was a very long game. And I don't think it ever was a boring game because there was always stuff happening. And it was like, who is winning? It's like going back and forth, back and forth. It's like, Lillecannon almost. Nah, Snoot has it. Snoot overextended, Lillecannon. Well, I guess that's the definition of an overextend.
Oh, yeah.
Of overextending, rather.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, what an ending. That was
Dude,
amazing.
No, that was really nice. That, yeah, such a long, drawn-out game before that, even though a lot of stuff happened, obviously. But the fact that the last couple of minutes, or even 5, 7, 8 minutes, were a little bit slow, and then suddenly that fight, just before we mentioned that the roaches were not the greatest composition ever, but the fact that he was able to take that fight perfect, that was a perfect spot as well. Like, there is not that many places on this map that you can get that kind of 180 arc around the army, but the Vipers, they were key. And that's
The infestors were key too.
The infestors were key. He played it perfectly with the remainder of the army.
The
while
3
he
or
was
4
broke.
broodlords that were left, even those were
The
very
broodlings
useful.
were
'Cause
useful.
I felt like I saw 87 broodlings on the ground. I'm like, he only had 4 broodlords. How did that even happen?
Yeah, this
that
is
was-
pretty crazy. I mean, right now, Norway is leading 3-2 now against Denmark, so they are on match point. They need to win 1 extra game. For now, we will do a quick break, and then when we return, it's going to be the end of Norway versus Denmark. See you in a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for what could be the last game of the night and the last game of our first day here at Nation Wars 2019. I'm still Funka, and I'm joined by my fellow Frenchman Todd for the cast of our potential last game. We are still waiting on the opponent of Snoot. We will discover it in a few seconds, but I'm guessing Little Cannon, considering how good he played.
Yeah, he's the one that has been playing the best by far on the Danish team, so makes a lot of sense, I think, for him to come out again. Unless they want to go for like something crazy and they're like, oh, actually, let us surprise you and we'll send Spacey Mazy.
That'd be quite crazy indeed.
The mind games.
Yeah, that would be the total mind game. And that's also a possibility. I mean, like, nothing is set in stone yet, whether or not they will be sending Little Cannon or another player. But considering
the
how well he
substitute
played,
can only play if somebody is unavailable. Like at the start of a clan war, you will always know like the 3 players that will play, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there can't be like a magical like swapperoo or something at the middle of it. Well, except I guess I mean, like right now, if the clan war is already deep started, like this, and everybody played. If you can't play, if you can't make it to your game, then you're just basically DQ'd right away, or at least 1 point is given to the other nation. We will get the versus now and figure out who the Danish player will be. And shocker, Little Cannon.
Yeah. He's going to get another shot, another crack at the Snoot here, and it's going to be on Triton this time around. But yeah, I mean, Norway being on match point here, it's going to be tough for Denmark. It feels like, okay, so Lil Cannon would have to win here, and then Norway still have their revive.
Yeah.
Let's just say that Snoot comes back again, then Lil Cannon basically has to beat Snoot twice in order to win this clan war.
Nah, that's going to be a tall order indeed. We will be introducing our 2 players, as I said before. Might be the last game of the night. I hope you've been enjoying the ride so far. If you do, don't hesitate to tell us on social media using the hashtag NW2019. In the top left, representing Denmark, as the Red Terran, he is Lillekan. I can't pronounce it as good as Roddy. Lillekan. Oh. Whatever.
His opponent in the blue, representing Norway, it is Snoot.
Yeah, sick intro music. I'm loving the vibe, and we'll see if we get into that heavy late game play as we saw just before on Thunderbird. Triton, also a pretty decently big map, but we'll see. It's maybe a little bit more. Like centric in a way. I mean, you don't have that many paths. You can go like super deep into the corners, but I don't see it happening. I see more of a fight being taken on the high grounds in the middle or on the bottom side. But we'll see what happens in this game. We'll see if Little Cannon gets to that super heavy late game, where Snoot has showed that even though he was broke and he was producing nothing but roaches, he was able to take the fights that we all know and love from him.
Yeah, that's the thing with Snoot, especially in this kind of, like, I feel like these two, they are kind of like a matchup made in heaven. They both kind of like to sit back and macro and split the map and stuff. They both have a ton of patience and experience with those styles. And I mean, Snoot, he was one of those guys that played, you know, in the Swarmos era, or even like, you know, Broodlord Infestor and all that. Yeah. He's always known to just kind of sit back and take things slow, but at the same time, when it's time to turn it up, he always knew how to do that as well. I remember when he first started to rise to prominence and his ZVT was like incredible, he was also playing like Zergling Bane Muta really well, mostly off the back of droning up very, very nicely in the starter games.
Scarlet style, you know, like getting super quick to 4th base and then maxing it out on Mutaling Baning. So yeah, definitely a player that can basically master any type of style, but obviously favors a more defensive and slow down approach. And I would give it to Snoot right there, because that was a painful loss, I feel, for Little Cannon. So that's probably not the first time in his entire career that it happened. That he was beaten by an army that he thought he could beat, but the way it happened and how fast it happened, like, it was basically, is it going to last for like more 15 minutes more, or is it just going to be a GG right away? And that's what happened, and I was super surprised. I guess Snoot wasn't feeling too comfortable in this game, but he did get the W at the end, so Little Cannon might be a little bit flustered by how it happened. So we'll see if he decides to go for something faster than what he did last game. That would still surprise me, but it's
If
definitely
it goes the
an
other
option.
way around,
Yeah?
something a lot slower.
Something a lot slower. So this day actually goes
Just
on
split the
until
map.
plus midnight, you know?
Split the map.
Split the map, take your time.
Mine it out, and then let's see who has the best micro and the best unit composition building.
Late game army control, patience, a lot of stuff that comes into super macro late game play. Snoot is going to try and scout with his Overlord, not investing into Overlord speed, which is kind of interesting as he's getting a Roach Warren. We could see Snoot turning it up here, because not going for Overlord speed already sounds a little bit weird to me when I'm thinking of Snoot. Like, why wouldn't you not abuse a mechanic like this if you're Snoot and you like to play like this? And at the same time, Roach Warren a little bit early. There's nothing that he scouted that tells him that it's gonna be like an armory timing or something. So the Roach Warren is not necessary in terms of defense. Earlier he defended with nothing but queens. So it's like it might be aggression, and it will be 9 roaches here.
Yeah, I think he's maybe counting on Little Cannon to completely not be ready for this on his side of the map, and for him to go for the battlecruiser that he's going for as well. And also that's going to help. Like, the dream when you go for units like this is that you defend perfectly against the Hellions, that maybe they overcommit or something, and then you go for the counter-attack. He kind of missed the fusion core, but I mean, he sees something being produced out of the starport. He might have somewhat of an idea that, you know, it could be a battlecruiser, and he even saw, I think, the additional factories being added on now.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much like the most likely option here for Terrans is to be building a battlecruiser. And he also scouted earlier in the previous game. He didn't see the fusion core either, and he felt like super ready to defend against that battlecruiser. For now, the roaches, they didn't cross the map by any means, but it's going to be defensive roaches. Oh no, okay, they're here. Sorry, just a little bit late, and TV is a little bit far. 4 roaches making their way closer to the 3rd CC and getting the SCV, which is kind of nice, getting a couple actually, and scouting the battlecruiser right away.
Yeah, I wonder, Snoot from there, like, where does he take his composition? Like, obviously he could try and play completely different as well, or at least make adjustments from the previous game, because when you play a long game, or like even when you play in game in general, you know, it's kind of close and stuff, and then you win, you're always going to want to think about what you could have optimized. You're going to think about all of your mistakes, every single one of them. You're going to want to fix them. Nice Evos, really trapping these Hellions on the right side at least, and only one of those is going to escape now. Snoot with a fantastic defense.
Snoot is just so precise when it comes to just tiny interactions like that. I think it really, really baffles me every time. That's not the first time that he did it against Little Cannon, but this one was pretty nice. Obviously, he lost some mining time, but it was not as painful as it could have been, because the queens, they were driven by those Hellions, so there was not that much defense, just a couple of Zerglings, and he ended up just losing a handful of drones. But those 4 Hellions, I think he was baited this time, and no reaction. Okay, Snoot will react, pull a couple of drones, but that's already 9, and that's gonna go up.
There's gonna be more.
Yep.
So Little Cannon finally finding some damage there. Very important for him to do that, because so far he had been completely shut down. Snoot even rallying some more drones in that position. 18 drones have got down just now.
Yeah,
it was going so well, and now it's not anymore.
Yeah, 21 is a huge number. At the same time,
that's the amount of drones Moman made in every single game once upon a time.
Yeah, and Snoot just lost them in a matter of seconds. We're gonna have a TP, BC TPing into the natural. TPing, yeah.
What is this, Warcraft 3?
Yeah, of course. Isn't it? It's not a TP, you wouldn't call it a TP? Or a
tactical
jump. You're right. I'm just saying
a TJ.
The TJing up onto that natural base, yo. Interesting, I like
my TJ, bro.
He forgot to TJ right there. Anyways, the tactical jump being used. Relocating the battlecruiser in the middle of the map, interestingly enough, and not right away into the natural or main base. Yeah, Hellions being trapped, and the Roaches will escape as the Zerglings will try and red. Yeah, 5 infestors and Neural already halfway down to fend off against those battlecruiser. Oh my god, he should have stayed into the SCVs and getting some more friendly fire from the tank. Okay. That's a 4th base.
You know what I'm really worried about? Did Lil Cannon see the infestation pit?
Did he see it? He did.
Okay, but will he really suspect that there's infestors with neural parasite? Is there a burrow?
I don't think there is burr.
Okay, so he can actually see them.
Yeah, but if he goes too deep, I mean, Neural is not done, and I don't think those infestors do have the energy. They don't for now. Neural just finished. So he's hiding them as much as he can, and Neural 100 energy, so he doesn't have it yet. So those BCs, they can still do pretty much what they want for now. He's actually going to be decreeping the map with them. And so fourth and fifth base being planted down by Snoot at the same time. Burrow is going to come right there, halfway done right now. And Yamato finishing a lot of upgrades on both sides. So kind of the same kind of game that we saw just before. I mean, slow and methodical.
I think Snoot might have forgotten Burrow. Because it's so much better with these infestors.
It's 60% done.
Yeah,
it's
I mean...
Oh, yeah, you mean
you would have needed it already.
I know.
If he caught those 3 guys and then killed them, like his lead would be just insane. I think he could just go like max out. Okay, he's gonna catch one of them.
One of them.
But yeah, I think he like if he had dealt better with this, I think he can just max out, get a bunch of Vipers, attack, and then just win. But now there's still 2 battlecruisers alive across the map. Raven being made on the side of Little Cannon.
Yeah,
he was one of the guys that actually was massing Ravens and stuff once upon a time and doing like really well with it.
Yeah, there's been times where massing Ravens has been pretty much the ultimate composition on the side of Terran if you're willing to camp to get to it. But yeah, definitely adding in a couple of Ravens, like not massing them per se, but adding a couple of Raven in the state of ZVT and basically, well, and especially with this style that Little Cannon is going for, I like it. Just
that
for
guy
the anti-missile.
Siege, by the way.
It's like,
repair me, peasants.
Do something. Okay, a couple of drones dying. That's a run by to the bottom left-hand side. But not that many drones. Oh no, actually he pulled them out.
Did you see those infestors sharking around, by the way, across the map and burrowed?
We've seen it. Ah, no blue flame. Okay, he forgot about it. Or maybe he didn't just have the oh la la.
It's on the way now. Oh my god.
Oh, my friend just came out. Oh la la. That's not looking good at all. That positioning is really good for... Oh, he did scan. Those infestors on the left side. Okay, one has been blocked. The rest of them still alive.
Battlecruiser is going to come to the rescue here.
Okay, one battlecruiser being abducted, but the infestor ended up dying. Some more infested Terrans for anti-air. Third base has been lifted off, and 10 SCVs going down. This is not the worst of trades for Little Cannon, but if he loses all those SCVs, then suddenly it's going to be quite bad. Okay, he needs to open the door.
Sick tactical jump.
A TJ, you mean?
Yeah.
A sick TJ. He
Great
burrows
TJ,
a Ravager. Bro. He burrows a Ravager. Okay. That ended up just being really good for Snoot, I feel. Nice tempo switch. Nice momentum going for him. Some economy taken out. And that's at the same time coming from a Snoot that has 88 drones.
Yeah, it is about to be on 8 gases.
Oh, yeah.
That starts being really scary here, because now he's going to have access to like everything that he wants, basically.
A gazillion Broodlord.
Yeah, if he wants to go for like some Corruptors to help against these battlecruisers, he can. Like, he can just keep on maxing out very consistently. And I'm guessing like the 5th base usually follows the 4th very, very quickly as well. +3 vehicle weapons starting now. Spire on the way for Snoot. +2 missile, +3 melee. Actually, the +3 melee is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's not the easiest of calls, but why not?
Like,
I mean, it's going to help for Broodlord.
It's going
to end up with Broodlings eventually.
Yeah, but that's like a super early
super
time
down the line. Yeah, I agree. Okay, opening up some new paths here on the left side. Trying to get the opportunity to move around more freely.
It does take a long time to get the +3 attack. Maybe that's why like he starts it early, so that it lines up decently well.
See, that's a sign that Little Cannon doesn't feel that good in this map, in this game, I feel, because that's such a huge commitment. He TJ'd here, right? So he is in a pretty rough spot if the infestors make their way.
And he's going to YC now.
He's going to use his YC. He's going to YC the hell out of those infestors.
YMC.
Can he get the neural? Nah, not enough range.
Oh.
No, he gets one.
A friendly YC.
Yeah. Can he get it? No, he's actually gonna neural them. He's actually gonna neural it until the end of that. Until the end of. Defend yourself, Little Cannon.
But he's
Why
not going to
is it-
shoot himself, too.
It's like, he was my friend 5 seconds ago. Why would I do that? Okay, double YC. But he gets the neural once again, and now triple neural. Dude, this guy.
Yeah, the CB hit. Oh my God!
Let's see about those CBs. Oh,
my
damn.
God!
And I was about to say, well, I was saying earlier that it was a pretty desperate move to go for a TJ right there. So pretty difficult on the side of Little Cannon. Still have with a massive army and a pretty nicely set up four base economy. But what about that fight?
He's pulling the boys.
He's pulling the boys. Okay, that's a lot of Ravagers that are about to die.
Oh my God! That infestor.
Whoa, he got obliterated.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was a weird fight from
He's like tried to go up a ramp with like a bunch of roach Ravager and a single infestor.
And he remakes.
That's a terrible
And he
trade.
remakes those roaches. It's interesting because he's relying on a lot of roaches and Ravagers against mech, which is something that not every single player does, right? So. Like he doesn't rush the Vipers, he doesn't rush Broodlords as well. Like he wants to have like a pretty mobile army, and we know how much he loves Ravagers. Ever since Legacy of the Void came out, Snoot has always been quite keen on producing those, but it's not the easiest army to control, and we've seen it. Like if the Terran has a pretty nice setup in terms of tank numbers and sieging, basically before the fight starts, well, it can happen like this. Like you can get obliterated in a matter of seconds.
8 Broodlords being morphed now. We've got advanced ballistics on the way for Little Cannon, who's working on his armor upgrades. Now he's 3-2 already on those mech units.
Yeah.
Snoot is still getting the higher tier units that he needs to counter this. The Roach.
The Roach. Let's make some more cucarachas. I mean, Moment is out of the tournament, but his spirit will live on because of me. Using Roaches and Ravagers, but going way above the 21 drone limit that Moment limits itself to. 3 SCVs going down, a Liberator for free. That's pretty nice. I mean, just Snoot has the momentum and he has the map control. And once again, the creep is unbelievable in a game like this. Always trying to just take care of it as good as he can. And he's got a million queens. How many queens is this? 15.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and they're gonna march across the map.
That siege is gonna be insane. Like it feels like it's at the timing where, like Little Cannon is still throwing away a lot of units, and I don't know if he's gonna be ready for this really.
With all the transfuses available, okay, only 3 infestors, which is kind of nice for Little Cannon, that he doesn't have to face like a million, not abducts, but neurals or even fungal or even infested Terrans. Every single spell being super useful in this situation. Now a first Thor getting some pretty sizable damage up onto him. Ravagers trying to get closer to use some corrosive bile. And the reparation happening on the planetary fortress. He needs to take care of it, I feel. Okay, the PF gonna fall.
Alright, Snoot's coming into the fight. This Thor's doing a ton of damage, but the Broodlord's still reigning supreme.
Snoot is so good.
From the skies.
Snoot's so good. He's so good in those kind of situations. And Lil Cannon, even though he was in the positioning we expect him to be in a TVZ, he gets just thrown down when Snoot just pushes a little bit on the pedal, like pedal to the metal and let's go.
Me.
You know who I am? You know what I fought against? I know about mech, son. And Snoot obviously gonna take the victory for his country, and Norway will qualify for the round of 24. Kudos to Snoot, taking 3 points by himself. Is it 3? Yeah, it's 3.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it is. It is. I've been really bad at math tonight, so I'm just questioning myself every time I'm saying a number, which is hard when I'm talking about the supply.
Yeah, I mean, the supply you can just kind of look at. You don't need to do math. Except sometimes I'm looking at the supply and I'm like, somebody has 92 army supply and the other guy has 47. And I'm going to say he has double there. And I'm like, wait, no, it doesn't.
Is it double? Times 2? It's so hard.
You can't take it back if you say it. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah. No, I was wondering if 40 plus 1 was 41 earlier. So don't worry. I've been there. Okay, we are going to see a couple of replays out of this last game between Norway and Denmark, and especially Snoot versus Lil Cannon. In the end, good old Snoot, the defender of the European realm, Jens Asgard, prevails.
He lost 20 drones and he has 57 drones. How many drones did he have in the first place?
He had 76, 77, 21. It was 21. I thought it was 20. I thought it was
from
20.
the numbers I said. But
all right. So that
was an ambitious battlecruiser right there.
Yeah, an ambitious TJ, if I may say. I like that attack. It was like so
TJ sounds like a real name.
Yeah.
It was an ambitious Chad battlecruiser going forward.
It was a Chad. But yeah, that was an unexpected attack. And seeing that Little Canyon plays without sensor towers, just this army just walked across the map between the third and fourth base and was able to push back the momentum quite hard right there. I love that play. That was Snoot in a nutshell. You know, I don't know if I can neural all those battle cruisers. I'm actually going to grab one, and then he will have to fight, and then I will grab all three of them. And then
G-baited.
CB. Amazing CB here. Corrosive Ball, if you're
That
wondering.
was the game-winning really move, I think, is to go for even like...
Those 3VCs, you mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, just going in fasters.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of Terrans, they go for battle cruisers like this, but not everybody is as good as infestors as Snoot. So Snoot immediately knew, he's like, all right, I'll just go for a bunch of infestors and I'll get rid of these BCs, and then from there I'll just be in control of the game entirely. And you know, we talked about that earlier with the +3 melee. It did kick in even before the first Broodlord entered the field, but once you had 8 Broodlords here, landing those Broodlings, those very angry Broodlings on top of everything.
Yeah.
It was easy cleanup here for Snoot.
Yeah, no. Just in general, a really well played out game by Snoot, and just showing that he's pretty crazy at reacting to the style of his opponent and figuring it out and knowing when to strike, and even with his own style, because he didn't commit it to some kind of like amazing number of Broodlord and Infestor. He was playing that more active kind of style with the Ravagers and everything, and he did tremendously there. So there's not that much to say about this game. Just Snoot once again prevailing for Norway. 2 victories under their belt. We need to remind you guys of that, even though it was quite a long time ago. 2011, 2012, the first 2 seasons of Nation Wars, or maybe 2012, 2013. But they did win both starting seasons of Nation Wars, so they do have a massive history in the tournament, and Snoot especially.
Who was in the lineup there other than Snoot and Targa?
Oh, you mean at the live venue in Nation Wars 2?
Yeah, like in the 2 that they won, there was... I don't remember specifically.
I can't remember.
We can ask, maybe.
Hey, Romy, please help me out. He actually all-killed against Poland, and he was chanted on in the...
yeah.
What was his name? Okay, we do have the interview as we're trying to remember about the last player that was part of the conquest of Nation Wars 2. Very well played, you guys. Snoot, King, Poseidon. Very well played.
Yeah. Hey, thank you.
Hey, Snoot. I was kind of sad I wasn't on the interview earlier, so I couldn't talk to you. But finally, it happened. You guys prevailed, so now I get to talk to you again. I'm really happy. I'm gonna start with you actually with some questions. Massive history in Nation Wars. You won the 2 earlier editions. I do believe you're the record man in terms of the number of games played in general in Nation Wars. So you're like 42 and 20 or 43 and 20 now in terms of stats. What does it mean to you to play once again in Nation Wars? Not that you are not like pretty much a professional, like you're more of a streamer and playing on the side. How does it feel to be there?
It felt nostalgic. Like that's the best word to say, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, of course, I have so many good memories from Nation Wars, especially the offline finals, the second one with Aiki and Targa.
Aiki,
yeah. So it just feels good to play competitive games, especially when it's not like you're getting stomped or anything. When you're actually winning.
When you're winning,
and when the games are close, then it feels amazing for sure.
Yeah, I guess we can all say that those two last games, especially, were quite entertaining. King, Poseidon, you guys made it to the round of 24. Can you talk a little bit about how you prepared there? If everything went according to plan for you guys, or was it just like a little bit of YOLO here and there? Maybe Poseidon, you want to start with your mech game earlier?
Well, I didn't prepare much because I'm kind of retired from the gaming. So, but I was like going back to my old school playstyle, and I knew back in the days I competed a lot with him, and I knew I was quite happy about facing him, but not playing a late game on 1 year ago made it pretty much painful when those battle cruisers came and all those healing run-bys. So I couldn't get, and he didn't go as planned because he never went out, and I was hoping for him to fight in open somehow.
It was a difficult map as well to get in. I guess, like, how much did you get to really think about the matchup, and like, were you picturing it was going to look a lot different than it did, or were you surprised at the way the game turned out?
I was expecting some proxy from him and some kind of. I was expecting the Banshees, so I was happy about the Stargate play, but I didn't think he would be that turtle. It was like. It was Avila 10 times worse, you know, he never moved out.
Yeah, that was a rough one for sure. I mean, always a tough call to go into a mech like this. King, you did pretty well today. I mean, we didn't know that much to begin with this clan war. At least personally, I didn't know what to expect out of your level. Did you feel comfortable playing those games? Do you get like pointers as a team? Like I think you should use that kind of build because you've got Snoot in your team that could give out some advices. Or are you preparing solo? How does it work?
We didn't talk much beforehand, so I prepared my own ideas.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with how it went. I was very unsure what to do against SCII, but it did work what I planned, so I was very relieved about that. He's a very good Zerg player, so I'm happy that worked. Against Lilikalin, I also had a plan I was very confident in, but it didn't work as well. He kind of turtled on one base when I did my all-in, and I got a bit uncomfortable there because I haven't unfortunately practiced as much as I think I should.
Yeah.
So I really fell behind on the dealing with the multitasking eventually. He just tore me apart, really. I couldn't keep up.
Yeah, it was interesting because you did take a pretty massive advantage at the beginning, like playing that more aggressive kind of counter style to what he was doing and trying to turtle up and everything. So you did have, I would say, a pretty decent advantage. And then suddenly it felt like he was like slowly getting back control over the map and then suddenly having a little bit more room to go and harass everywhere. So like, did you lose focus, or weren't you like more... You weren't that prepared to face off against a really late game Terran? Like what happened in this game? Did you feel like you were losing control, or?
I felt I had control all up into the point where he dropped the Thors on my Swarmhost.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it all fell apart. And unfortunately, I haven't practiced enough. So also this new style that they're playing now with mech is a little bit different than what I was used to. I also know that Swarmhosts are much more used with Nidus these days.
Yeah.
I haven't really practiced that, so unfortunately I couldn't do that.
All right.
He was just a faster player.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess it's a question for the entire team. Where do you see yourself in this tournament? Like, how far do you think you guys can get if you get that proper like practice going? I mean, you do have tiny bit of time before round of 24 starts. Is there a placement that you're looking towards, or anything along those lines?
I think it really depends on the draw, big time. Because I think it's going to be very rough against the powerhouse teams, of course. But we do have some weaker teams making it through the qualifiers also. But with the seeding working the way it does, I think it's going to be very difficult. But hopefully we can put up a good fight. It would be absolutely crazy to win, I think.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's my opinion at least.
All right. Do you guys have any last words that you would like to say to your fans, maybe Norwegian?
Tusen takk til King og Poseidon som kunne spille. Og tusen takk til alle som står på. Shoutouts til SC2NO og alle norske fans. Veldig hyggelig og, ja, at dere heier på gjengen. Så tusen takk for det.
All right. You guys want to add anything? I heard Poseidon at the middle of it. Does that mean that you have to say something now? Or did I misunderstand?
He was just thanking me and King for playing with him.
All right.
But yeah, I'm pretty happy about the team, and I expect us to do better in the next rounds. Like, if you notice, this time all of us have been too busy to practice, and we compete with 6K players without practicing, and I guess we can take it to the next level if we just spend some time playing again.
All right.
And I guess we can qualify at least in the second spot in a group if we are lucky with the draw at least.
Okay. All right. That seems about right. King, do you want to say any last words before we turn off for tonight?
No, just thanks for everyone who watched.
All right. Hey, thanking the viewers. That's the message. I like it. Thank you much. Thank you guys very much for the interview, and we'll see you in the round of 24.
Yep. See you later.
All right. Todd.
Precise and to the point.
Precise.
I like it.
And to the point. Okay, we'll take a look at the results from today because, as we mentioned earlier, there were 4 extra games happening on Worry Stream. So let's take a look at those. Chile qualified against New Zealand earlier in the day. That was the first game. Then Hong Kong and Switzerland went to the bitter end with a Game 7 ending in favor of Hong Kong. Then Brazil versus Hungary was a field day for Brazil, 4-0. And at the same time, Croatia and Turkey ended up on a 4-2 in favor of Croatia.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the results are like pretty straightforward. Maybe, not really any surprise,
Not that
right?
many upsets.
Yeah, the favorites won, right?
Yeah, and we knew that Norway versus Denmark would be a close game, and it was. Again, Hong Kong and Switzerland might have been a really nice game to check out with the 4-3 ending. So,
I think like when you think of Hong Kong, maybe you don't always remember like all their players, but then once you look at the lineup and you see like Gogo, Joey, Bystork, and Action, it's like, yeah, okay, it does make sense that they would be able to do well.
Yeah, definitely. And that's about it for us today. We actually finished a really long broadcast to start things off with Nation Wars 2019. We hope you had a great day. If you did, don't hesitate to tell your friends, StarCraft fans, or even like whoever that
your
might
grandma.
enjoy that broadcast. Your grandma, obviously, if she loves esports, and everybody should. We had a field day today, and it's going to happen tomorrow again, starting 4 p.m. CEST, just like today, with 8 extra games happening tomorrow. Todd and Roddy will be alongside me once again. And I enjoyed this day. I'm happy that it started, and I'm looking forward from some extra games. Todd, do you have any last words before we
Thanks
close out
to you
the
guys
show?
for tuning in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.